Good morning, everybody. Friday. Can you hear me okay? Mic check 1, 2, 3. Mic check 1, 2, 3. What is going on? Wow, we have got quite a herd of elephants in the room. Do we not? I feel like I've been watching a mixture of the Blair Witch Project and Bigfoot footage for the last day. We had a great members live yesterday. We went through it. Emma came on panel. Emma said, this is where the car is. I see what she's talking about. Now, it goes without saying, we have no verification of what this is. Neither law enforcement has come out and said, we're aware of this footage. I would hope to Christ they would be. This website is no secret. It's a fire cam. Anybody, including my dumbass, can access it and has for the last day and a half. It's no deep, dark web. You don't even have to have a login. They don't even ask for your damn email. You just pop into it. We can watch the lake in real time right now if we want. Don't know what got up the PI's tail the other day. He had taken down his Twitter. He put it back up. And he said, there's a video. Odd. We're like, wow, a video. There is a video. Some people say they can see her going in the lake. We don't know what car this is, guys. What we have is what we've been doing for 2 months, and that is we have our opinions, our theories, and we're speculating because you can't make out what you're seeing. You really can't. Whether it be Kylie's car or any of the other headlights that we see in this video. It is messy. It's creepy. It's really like watching a scary movie because you think about it. If that's really the scene of her going in the water, well, then we got a lot of problems. We got a lot of problems. Because if it's that simple, yet very, very tragic, why was the public ever notified? Let's think about that. If Placer County was aware of fire cams in their own damn county, Nevada County, because that's their jurisdiction, would Nevada County, would they not know that there's fire cams and think to call up, or however you do it, you get a hold of the people at Alert California, which anyone can access and say, look, I don't feel like going through all that. Can you just send me a clip of, say, 10 o'clock on Friday to let's do like around 5 in the morning? Can you just size it up for me and send it to me? Got a missing girl. What the hell's going on? There would have been no need for the FBI. There would have been no need for Homeland Security. There would have been no need for everyday press conferences, community meetings. There certainly would have never been an abduction story. I shouldn't say story. There would have never been, we think she's been abducted, correct? There damn sure wouldn't have been a GoFundMe. So what is going on? What is going on? Don't forget that the link is pinned. I have seen some comments that have come in from older shows just saying, are you finally going to let it go? Are you finally going to let it go? What the hell am I looking at? You guys tell me. I'm sure by now you have seen what footage is out there, or you could have gone to the website yourself and looked at it yourself. That's what I did. So what do you see her actually with this, it looks like several cars in a row. I mean, you can see a car in front. You can definitely see a car behind her. If that's her, I'm just going to base this conversation on that it's her. Do you see her driving straight into the lake, or do you see these cars going around the curve? Some people say they see a big splash, but us, I see light. I can see lights. I can see lights around there. It's a fire cam. I don't see any fire, yet they said there was a bonfire. So what are we seeing? We don't know. I mean, not even the Sun has come out talking about this video. According to, well, the PI, which I didn't hire him, so I mean, I don't have to answer to him. He said that this is basically it. This is what's going to seal the deal. I don't get it. Well, if some people's perception is, and it's okay. We all see different things. It's okay. There's nothing to argue about. If you really are seeing her drive into the lake, as much as that makes my stomach turn, then I have a couple of questions. How do you drive from the hatch of the car? Why did nobody, because there was other cars out, we can definitely see lights. We can see more than just one light. Why did no one get a hold of someone to help the car that went in the lake or try to help them damn selves? Why did nobody stop and say there's a car that just went in the lake and make a phone call? Don't tell me because they're drunk, because drunk people survive this type of stuff, okay? You can have a head-on collision with a semi-truck. The semi-driver will be in the hospital for 3 weeks. The drunk walks away. You're telling me that nobody in this mass exodus of cars said one word or tried to get help for the girl, the car that took, instead of following the other cars, drove into the lake? Now, it does make sense. I definitely see all different angles. I see all of it. Trust me, I do. I see what everyone is saying. Don't think I don't. Nobody that was in the mass exodus stopped, got out. What's going on here? What is going on here? It's not a secret that there's fire cams. It was brought up in press conferences. They asked law enforcement. I heard it myself. Are there any cameras in the area? No, there's not. So if the fire cam solves everything, what are we doing here? There's more to it. And no, I'm not trying to drag this out. I'm not trying to milk a dry teat. It can't be that simple. Let's see what level-headed thinks.
Hello.
Level-headed, thank you for grabbing the link. We had a couple more people backstage, but I was ranting.
Yeah, I guess I was watching your video this morning, and who's to say that she didn't turn off or whoever it was, turned off their headlights there and were parked there? I mean, you can't see definitively that the car went into the water right then.
But some people say you can. Some people say, a channel I really like, Tyler Feller, he says, he kind of narrates the whole thing, and he says, you almost see a splash. I see like just a reflection of a light in the camera. So there's no shame or anything like that. We all see something different. There's a huge problem if, well, there's been a problem for a long time.
Yeah, it still doesn't clarify why the window was halfway down and another one was broken. There's still inconsistencies there. Those are facts because we've seen the videos. And her being in the back. I mean, it just doesn't seem likely that it doesn't make sense still. Even if the car went into the water then and everybody turned the other way, like the video shows, you would have seen those headlights because it was pitch black out there. And I don't know, it doesn't add up.
Why was she in the back? Water is heavy. And if you drown, now people have been found in the back of, they have, not belted in, it wasn't, they have, floated around in their car. I'm looking at her car is small. It's not like she's driving some big utility van with the seats in the back taken out. But the statistics on that are so low. Water's freaking heavy. She's not a balloon. Why did this just come out? Why did Steve take his Twitter down the other day, then pop it back up and say there's video footage?
Yeah. Well, obviously, they wanted the public to know that there's footage of the car, of a car there. We don't know if it's the exact car. There, they wanted people to see that the car was there. And that raises more questions because there's no current in that water, right? So I don't think that there is, but it does pump out. So maybe there is some current there. But like in normal lakes, there's usually like some type of current that goes through some of them, which would be able to move you if you were in a car like that. But it doesn't add up still.
It doesn't add up. I feel extra stupid, obviously, because as long as everybody understands, we're in the minority here, guys. I'm letting you know. Me personally, this channel, I'm not talking about any of you because I think you guys are cool AF, but we are in the minority here. Everybody else is saying that's her. She went in the water. We're pushing it by doubting this. I mean, this is not going to be a popular video. That's okay. We don't like to be popular. I'm not seeing it. It doesn't make sense to me. We would not be talking about Kylie Rodney today, yesterday, the day before, Tuesday, Monday, Sunday, Saturday, the whole last week, if this video proved anything, because I do not believe for a minute that nobody in Placer County and nobody in Nevada County knew about Alert California's fire cams.
You would think that would have been the first place that the law enforcement would have looked, because that would have signified how many cars were there, where to go and search for her, and not call in 50 FBI agents and trying to find her. Doesn't make sense to me.
No. Francine said people acting like this was just released. It wasn't. It's been on the site the entire time. It didn't just get put on there. We can look at 12:33 last night, the night before, the night before that, the night before that. It's been sitting there the whole time. It's been sitting there the whole time. They were asked specifically on several occasions, actually. They were asked about cameras. No, they weren't specific. They weren't like, well, there's no cameras at the pizza shop. Well, there's no cameras at that campsite. They just said no. Nobody brought up the damn fire cams. Why? And I don't think it's because they didn't want us looking at them. I think it's because I don't know. I'm talking too much. Go ahead.
Well, I don't think that they knew that they were there themselves.
How could they not?
I don't know. I'd have to go back and see research a little bit and see if there's ever been a fire there. Because if there's ever been a fire right there in the immediate place, they probably wouldn't know that the cameras were there.
They have forest fires all the time. They're cleaning up from the latest one. In the saga, that is the disappearance and death of Kylie Rodney. In the meantime, between the party and now, they had massive fires out there. They know about those cameras. It's an alert system. The forest rangers damn sure know about them. What the hell?
So then, I haven't gone and looked at the actual cameras and where that actual site yet. But I don't know if anybody here has done it, but are you able to go like back a month or go back like to other parties that they've had there? And
you can go back to Memorial Day. You can go back to Christmas.
Wow.
Uh-huh. You can pull it up right now. Alert California.
Well, here. So then it would be interesting to go back and see some of their other parties if they ever drove towards the water there then.
There it is. They even give you a tutorial video on how to use their website. It's a safety measure. So, well, people aren't surrounded by fire in their home.
Wow.
Oh, here, hang on a second. You click it. All right, you see? There's a lot of different cameras. They're going all the time. Alder Hill is the one you want. And then I already put that in. And then you specify your date.
Wow.
Okay, so like right now, I mean, it's very user-friendly. It's very user-friendly. It's a beautiful day. I mean, it shows right now, okay, it is, it's a minute behind because it's 9:19 here. I'm in Central Time, and it shows right there, 7:18 Pacific Daylight Time. 10/7/2022. That's today.
So when media was asking at the press conference, obviously, if you live in California, you would know that these cameras exist, right? Because when there is fires, this is what they use to see which direction that they're burning and to help put them out. And as law enforcement or the fire department there would totally know.
Yeah, it's no secret.
So why did they try to keep it quiet?
Or does the video not show what we think we're seeing? It's got to be one or the other. Either this is footage of a cover-up, or it's not as simple as we think. I mean, they've got a video. If that video just shows her driving into the lake, then why would California Highway Patrol need to do any investigation? They're looking at it if that's what they're seeing.
Yeah.
Let's see what Skews the Sleuth is saying. Welcome to the channel. Nice to meet you.
Hey, girl.
What's up, girlfriend?
I'm good. Have you read The Chucky Way?
I feel like I'm living it right now. What's up?
Oh, my gosh. It is on their website. I'm sorry, I do have a baby in the background. She may make noise.
Okay, with the babies.
It says, since the incorporation of the town, Truckee staff and decision makers have Mrs., please. Have embraced a set operating principles, knowing 2 seconds.
You cut out, girlfriend, and you're muted.
Yeah, I tell you what, because she's just going to carry on screaming at me. If you go on to your laptop or whatever and type in the Truckee Way on the Truckee website, it lists their priorities and how they like to keep things internal in Truckee. If they have problems, They don't want to go to external sources. Basically, you can't fart without your neighbor knowing.
Mhm.
And you sort it out between each other.
Oh, I dig it. I mean, a lot of communities, keep it between the lines. You know what I mean? We don't want people in, we don't need people in Texas talking about us. They take, families, we just take care of it here. In this obviously they didn't remember their own creed, if you know what I mean, because News Nation, Today's Show, CBS This Morning, Good Morning America, they had a community meeting. They set up the press conferences where they had Sacramento, San Francisco, Reno there. So either this is footage of a cover-up that they wanted everyone to know about because they publicized it. They had a damn meeting every day. Like I said, local stations from Sacramento, San Francisco, Reno, right there asking them questions. Or it's not as simple as what some people think. And it's okay whichever way you look. It's okay. We're all looking at the same thing and we're all coming away going, yeah, she drives right in the water. Then some people are like, no, I see these cars go around the curve.
You have to remember that these cameras, especially at night, are going to pick up light in the way that they're picking up. So even the tail lights will come up as white lights. They're there to pick up fire, not the color of the light. So it's just picking up light.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people saying that they can't, they're saying, oh, but that light's brighter and that light's dimmer. It's because you could be seeing tail lights of a certain vehicle. It's not going to show up red. It's not picking up colors, it's picking up light. So it's just going to show as a white light. If you actually go on a fire cam footage and actually look at a developing fire, it's not, even at night, it's not going to show you the color of the fire. It's just going to show you a white light.
Right. Okay. Well, oh yeah, I get you. I totally get you. And if you want to mess around with it and you want to look at other evenings, other nights, it's going to appear that other cars drive straight into the lake. It really does. Because like I said, you're just looking at little lights, I guess, going across, and then you'll see a reflection. It could be, honestly, it could be her just driving into the lake. I don't know. We don't have any verification that, yes, that is the CRV. That was Kylie driving. We have never heard that. So if it was, then we have a huge problem because they never even checked their own camera and created a panic. Well, it would be a panic either way because, well, someone died. But also, there's other people around that did nothing. There's other people in that line of cars. Who drives in the lake? I mean,
yeah, and one of them even turned around and you could see their headlights lighting up the trees on the other side of the lake. They came down all the way to where supposedly Kylie's vehicle went in and turned their car around, and another vehicle stopped for a few seconds, and that kind of looked like they were picking someone up. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm one of those people that likes to speculate a lot. But yeah, they turn around right where she went in, seconds after she went in.
Well,
If she did, it
well,
doesn't. It doesn't. You know.
Well, that's the other thing is like we don't even know. It could just be another camper out there that parked there and turned off their lights.
Yeah, or an ATV, right?
Oh yeah, I didn't even think of ATVs.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It could have just been an ATV that could have got onto the beach or really far to the water. You know, maybe a car's not going to be able to enter that sandy, sort of terrain very well, but an ATV would have been able to park right up to the edge.
Has somebody done a video yet of like? I haven't been watching much of it, but has somebody done a video where they put exactly where her car was and put that those lights are exactly where she went in at?
It's only speculation. I mean, there's tons of videos. There's tons of people, and they have it circled, and they're doing great work. Please don't think that I'm saying anyone is right or anyone is wrong. We could all be wrong, or they could all be right. I don't know, because nobody has said, "Yep, that's her car. Yep, that's what you're witnessing." I'm just saying it looks to. I mean, my eyes are going crossed watching it.
I mean, Gray did a fantastic job at overlaying the day and the night footage so that you could see more clearly. And he also did a fantastic job at mapping out the area so you could see the route the cars were going down and which way that vehicle would have went to go into the water. But that's the only footage that I've seen where you can actually see a little bit more of what you could in the other footage that he had uploaded the day before.
Well, and then I saw Tyler Feller. He like narrated one. Like I said, everybody's seeing something different. Emma was on panel yesterday, so we'll leave that to them. We're going to go through it for ourselves today and see what everyone thinks, because that's their channel. This is ours.
Even I put up a damn video. I was so shocked, but everything in that video that I did was speculation. I'm not one-sided. I try to play devil's advocate, but even I was a bit like, could this be her car?
I don't know. Like the title I put up today is, Kylie, question mark, is it? We don't know. So a lot of people were saying that when the car came out of the water, it was in neutral. I don't know where that information's coming from. Supposedly from Megan, that she heard it was in neutral. I don't know. That the car was being pushed, that somebody was pushing the car. I don't know. I'm not stirring up rumors. I'm just going off of what people are saying. But no one stopped. If this is truly Kylie Rodney going down that road and she truly drove into the water, well, no one stopped.
If it was in neutral, why would she be going down a hill in neutral? Because the car didn't stop at any given point. Why would she be going down a hill in an automatic car in neutral?
They're not saying that. They're saying, we lost her. No, people aren't saying that she was trying to drive in neutral. They were saying that the car was in neutral because somebody was pushing it in.
Yeah.
Then we have, so she's in the backpack. She's in the backpack. That's exactly what Jared said with Adventures with Purpose. He said it. Nick came out of the water, said it's suspicious. They've already said if they come out and say it's an accident, this is Adventures with Purpose, then we've got other stuff we're going to put out. So we don't know what they have. They've said over and over they only have 10%. Why, if they have this video and they've got the equipment to clean it up, trust me, then why didn't they just put this out 2 months ago and say, we have this footage? Of course, we'll have to look into more, as in like toxicology and stuff, but this is what happened, guys.
Now it makes me want to go back and look at days afterwards on this footage, because you can see cars there during the day then too, right? On those fire cams.
Oh yeah. Oh, have fun. You can see all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
That's what I'll be doing this weekend.
Hang on. We lost Skews. I didn't cut her off. She dropped out. Hey, Skews.
Hey, it's my bad.
No, it's okay. No, what I was saying is they're not saying that she rolled down the hill in neutral, that she would have had to have been pushed. Like I said, everybody's got a different theory, and that's okay.
And the issue is as well, is this video really doesn't prove anything at all. It's splitting the YouTube true crime community. But it's not proving anything.
Well, and that's okay. We stay on our side of the fence anyway. And then again, we have somebody supposedly saw her at 1:00. All right. Jagger said she was last seen at 1:30 a.m.
And don't forget the AAA guy.
Don't forget roadside assistance. Don't forget Sammy having the last call at 12:36. Well, how are you going to get a call?
Well, on the phone, if there was a call, the phone would have been in that water, right?
She can't call from underwater.
Yeah, so there is actually people can call because phones can go underwater to a certain distance. So if she was phoning as she was sinking, the phone could have still been connected and ringing even if the phone was in water. Especially that iPhone that she was using. But the iPhone still has not been found. That has to be remembered as well. We don't even know if the iPhone was with Kylie. The iPhone could have been left at the campground. She could have forgot it, right?
Mm-hmm. It's weird.
Somebody else could have been using her phone.
It's
and
weird.
ringing Sammy to say, hey, I've got Kylie's phone.
Yeah, it's funny. I was thinking about this, well, a couple of times actually. A few years ago, there was a woman in Arkansas. They were having a flood, and she didn't, it was dark. She was
I
leaving.
know exactly what you're talking about. This is crazy.
Yep. And
Yeah.
she was driving into like a low water bridge and didn't see all the water in front of her. And she called 911, and well, they didn't get to her in time. But I mean, she wasn't underwater. But still, they were trying to get to her. Now, the 911 operator, the whole reason that the call went viral is because she was really rude to her and telling her to get out of the car and stuff. But anyway,
She was awful.
so anyway, she made the call, and of course they did get to her, but it was too late. So if this was truly Kylie in the water and she called Sammy at 12:36, we have a problem because Sammy didn't do anything to get her help. But we also have law enforcement said that the last any sort of anything on her phone was at 12:33. Now they never said it was a text or a phone call, basically that it went off grid at 12:33. So how did she call Sammy at 12:36 with a phone that's off grid?
And that's exactly when the supposed car went in. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. When the supposed car went in the water. I hope the comment section doesn't mind babies, by the way. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, no, hun, you're fine. You're fine.
Well, the other thing is how many cars does it take for 300 people to be at a party? Because when you see those lights and people exiting on that video, I don't know. I have to go back through and count and see if we can actually see how many vehicles are exiting. But I think you would have seen a lot more lights than what was leaving there if there was that many people there.
Yeah. But I mean, you can watch it for quite a while, but you're still not going to see, well, what I believed was the mass exodus. Hang on, there was a comment I wanted to look at. Hey, UFC, what do you think about all this? UFC Frog is in here.
I see UFC everywhere.
LG Gal said this footage has been available to everyone since the day it was taken. Yeah, so what's the problem? Why wasn't this all summed up 2 months ago? You guys just saw the live stream from that camera a minute ago. No, we did a whole members live about it, and we've been talking about it for a while. We didn't know about it until I don't live in Northern California. I didn't know about this. I don't know anything about an Alert California website. We have tornadoes here. We don't have fire cams. So I didn't know about this website, but other people did. So why is this, if what we're truly seeing is Kylie Rodney drive in the water, what's the investigation really about? Why was there any FBI, Homeland Security? We believe she could have been abducted. She had this hoodie on. She changed into this hoodie. We're looking for necklaces. She has a belly button ring. What's going on? What's going on?
Well, to me, that seems like that they've had to have seen this footage, and to me, that seems like that car didn't go into the water right then. They would know, even FBI would know that those cameras were there, because the FBI is coming out of California, so they obviously know. They probably obviously use them for other stuff that they work on as well. And I don't know. You would think that it would be a simple. This is what happened. If that is really what happened in the footage, it still wouldn't be going on, and she wouldn't be in the back of the car. I don't think she could float back there from the front. I could be completely wrong, but it's just my opinion that she couldn't float to the back of that car the way that the car was down there.
Well, and you make a really good point. The FBI was there on site. I know, like, one of the early press conferences, they were outside. They weren't like in the community building, and they addressed the public. You think the FBI wouldn't say, "Hey, I need to see the fire cams"?
Well, they deployed 50 agents over there. It caught my eye when they came out with the news article that they deployed 50 agents. That's unheard of. And I actually did a little tiny video of it because it was unheard of before. But you're telling me that 50 of them didn't think to go look at this fire cam?
Yeah. You would think 1 out of 50 agents would have been like, "Hey, we're in wildfire country. There's forest fires here 2-3 times a year. There's a lot of fires here. There's got to be a fire cam. Where's the fire rangers? Tell me how to get on that site. Oh, there's a website anyone can access. Well, hell, I can do this right now. Nobody thought of that? No, I don't believe that for a minute." Shep said, "Is there a trustworthy local to drive out to that point of entry and then pull up those cameras and check it side by side?" Yes, her name is JPL, and she's probably still sleeping. JPL will be on the scene. No way 50 agents went out there and ignored that. No way. There's no reason to. It's stupid. Makes no sense. Not everybody can be dumb as a box of rocks. Just doesn't work that way. Let's see what ADK Lassie's saying. ADK, what you got, girlfriend?
Good morning. Can you hear me?
I can. Everybody say hello, ADK.
Hello, ADK.
So I was doing a little digging, and I'm not that familiar with this webpage and how it actually works. But there's a webpage called the Wayback Machine, and you can put your URL, any URL, into this Wayback Machine, and it brings up a calendar, and it'll bring you to whatever website and the different dates where it was captured. And so I noticed when I went back in, I went into the Alder camera. I put, that URL in. And the first time in the 2 years that this camera has been up, the first time it was captured was October 2nd. And then it was captured 2 more times, I believe, like yesterday. And I'm like, So in 2 years, this machine's only capturing them when all this ruckus is going on. And then I looked at the Alert California home screen. That's only been captured 10 times in the, I think, 2 years this website has been up. So 3 out of 10 times is the Alder Hill camera. And I wish I knew more about it, because you can go in and you can see all this coding and all that. So I don't know what it's actually capturing, but it's just one of those oddities to me. Okay, something made this program capture this webpage on this date, and then 3 days later we have this video. So I don't know if somebody could have gone in there and manipulated it or what. It's just another odd thing to me.
Yeah, the Wayback Machine used to be way more powerful when the internet first came out, because it was like an archive of collecting data and different stuff. So I use it a lot for news articles because they update them, and it makes it way easier to see what they didn't update. But the internet's so powerful and so big now that it doesn't capture everything.
Right, but I just think it's odd. It only started capturing it October 2nd, 2022.
Yeah, I'd have to go. I'll take a look at it after the live and see if I can see what it's doing.
Because you can go in and you can see what kind of, I was trying to watch some videos on how to actually use the program. Usually it's pretty simple. I did it for the GoFundMe page, and that was a lot easier to see the different changes. But this one, I think it's a bit more because they're, separate cameras and stuff like that. Just another odd marker in this whole case, because just when you think it's clear, let's shuffle it up again.
Well, and why does the investigator, the PI, why does he come out and put this out there? I don't understand the mindset of why all of a sudden now, even him, I think he lives in California. He would know that there's cameras for fires as well. So I don't know why they waited so long.
Well, why take down your Twitter, put it back up saying there's video? Why this could have, if this is truly now, okay, the last ping on her phone correlates with the timestamp on the video. Okay, it might be a minute off because, like I said, I put the website up and you can see it's a minute behind. I don't care about that. I don't care about that. So if the thing is, some people see the cars continuing, they keep going down the road. Some people see her drive into the water. My thing is, if that's truly what we're seeing, it can't be that simple. They had way too many resources out there. Okay, let's just say they didn't think of the fire cams. Let's just say, well, they damn sure know about them now. Isn't it time to wrap it up? Address this and say, yes, that is her. That is her. We're just waiting on the toxicology. Okay, well, was her driving? You know she was in the backpack. So what's the investigation exactly then? What is it?
Well, it would have been a lot easier if AWP didn't find the car because something's not right there. And obviously they have pure camera footage. Their cameras are top notch. And you can see in the video, the first one that they did, that you could clearly see through the front that nobody's in the front. You could see the back seat that nobody's there. So that clearly puts her that she's in the backpack. And obviously they have the clear footage of what was seen there. And that's why they can't wrap it up.
Why was Jagger looking in Reno? Why was Sammy saying that she was being trafficked halfway around the world? How do we know? That if, let's just say, if you're one of the ones that believes that this is truly footage of her driving into the water, I don't know. I can't see it. I can't see shit. It looks to me like the cars continue on. That's what it looks like to me. Doesn't matter, whichever way you believe. Was somebody else driving and jumped out of the car? I don't know.
If she was driving, if she drove into the water there with the one window broken and the other window halfway down, she would have got out of the car. So a lot of the cars that they pull up out of water where they drive into the car, they're still seat belted into the car. And the windows are typically almost all the time that I've seen where they're up and not broken, not halfway down. So.
What's up, UFC Frog? I'll put it on.
Up?
What's
going on? Good morning, guys.
We've been waiting on you, UFC. What are you thinking? Do you?
Oh, I just got in trouble in Brittany's room. I want to clear things up real quick. I didn't mean anything bad. We were going over comments last night about Megan, right? Some girl in there was crying. I know people were in there. But my point was, she said that people were saying mean things. But what people are getting to is on that Megan, the whole thing is she shouldn't come up in public if she's going to come up and tell lies for Sammy and not speak about Kylie. You know what I'm saying? That whole thing when she coming up for 8 hours was to cover Sammy. It's nothing about Kylie. So a lot of people are upset saying things about her because if you're going to come up and lie, then that's just another person's case trying to derail it. You know what I'm saying? To a whole different direction. That's where I'm at. And with this SF investigates, I'm kind of confused. Like people are saying, is this really what happened? Or is it, you know what I'm saying? Is it something that looked like it from the distance? And is it admissible in court too? Is that why the FBI just threw it out right away? You know what I'm saying? Well,
I don't know. I mean, footage of somebody, they use CCTV all the time. This is a fire cam. Why would they not say, well, look, this at least tells us where she's at? I don't know. But the tweet he put up after his Twitter was down said, the made-up Boca roadside assistance call is responsible for the hell KR's family and friends have been through. Now, mind you, he's the one that called out Sammy Smith just a few days into this. He called her right out. He's the one that told us that she ran to Montana. Why is he defending these people now? I don't mean the family. But if he's talking about Sammy, he's the one that told us all she ran to Montana. Don't forget that.
Yeah. And the like Mystical said that all that time, you see other cars pull up in that video too. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to tell from the distance, but I swear you see lights pull back up like at 12:55 around there. You know what I'm saying? Pull up in the trees.
It goes on and on. He says, Ellie needs to step up for this family or I'm going to expose it all. Let's start here. A 24/7 Prosser camera that clearly captures headlights. Okay, I got the headlights. I'm not seeing anyone drive in the lake. I guess I'm the idiot here. He says, I screen captured this video tonight. Historical video is available. High-res 4K video, and LE has it. And they need to shut down the hate generated towards the family because of a PR marketing story they had nothing to do with. Why am I pissed at AWP? He says, because they lied. I don't think Nick coming out of the water saying it's suspicious is lying. She was in the back. Jared said she was in the back. Is what the hell? Then he says on August 6th, between midnight and 1 a.m., there was 4% cloud cover. It should not have taken more than a month to discover the fire cam footage. So he's saying he's had it the whole time?
I just have a thought here. Is he doing this to try to push AWP to turn over their footage to him so that he can see the footage instead of what law enforcement already has?
Yeah, and how does he know law enforcement has this camera footage?
That's a really good point. That's what he just said, man. S Investigate's a smart dude. He's manipulative. Is he using this to try to push AWP to give him the video footage so he knows what really happened, or he can maneuver next to the next move for him, because now he'll know what they have. That's a good point, dude. That's a really good point.
Hey, UFC Frog, did you know that in California, because you live there, right? In California?
Yes, sir, I do.
So did you know that these fire cameras exist all over the place, or is just something that you would have to go look for?
I wouldn't have known, but I probably figured after the big fires they would. I got a couple buddies that work for Cal Fire. I can call right now, and he would tell me, yeah. But I wouldn't think to call him. But I know that there's hunting cameras up there, like live cameras out there in Truckee and stuff. Out there in the woods. I think they can hunt. Maybe not there, but up north more in California. Maybe a couple hours. But I wouldn't have known, to be honest. I wouldn't have checked.
I don't believe that between Placer County and Nevada County and the forest rangers, nobody knew there was a fire cam. Come on. They were asked repeatedly in these press conferences about camera footage, and they said no.
Well, maybe they know it's public information. That's all I could. Or they didn't. And I mean, you would think the rescue would know, though. That'd be like the number one thing they go to is the camera. Any issues out there in the forest, first thing is that camera. Right? That's why it's put up there.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird. I mean, like I said, I'd never known about it. I'll call my buddy later. He worked for Cal Fire for at least 6-7 years. I don't know if he still does, but I'll give him a call and see if he probably knows about it. Dude, that's the agency. I wonder who has the rights to that camera. You know what I'm saying?
It's federally funded. You can pull it up right now. It's a safety measure for.
And that's weird. They wouldn't know. The FBI should know automatically then. Not just maybe the state police, but the FBI.
There's park rangers right there. There's park rangers. There's the people that, there's the fire department that fights fires. They obviously knew there was a missing girl there. They could have easily said, hey, just go to Alert California, put in Alder Hill. You don't even have to have a login. You just put it in there. You put in the time and date you're looking for. I did it.
And what are the chances are that it was right on Prosser Creek at that time? Because the camera moves, which it should, because, it's probably looking at 360 degrees. It's not going to just focus on the one area. But that exact time and that exact location, the phone pings and the car goes in. It was right there.
Yeah, and there wasn't 300 people there, so there debunks that too. You know what I'm saying? You see it. There's no way. Even if half the party left, there'd be more in those cars.
Well, and he keeps saying that Adventures with Purpose is the reason that this family's going through hell. First of all, they're going through hell because Kylie Rodney died. Okay? He volunteered. He said he volunteered. He was not paid. He volunteered. Now, the first week, we were all saying something's weird here. Something's weird here. Something's not adding up. This can't just be a simple accident. He came out of the chute on Twitter saying it's foul play. He said other counties are investigating. Something's going to come out of another county, he brought up. He even called out law enforcement on his Twitter saying, what are you doing letting Sammy Smith run this investigation? Then he said the day that AWP announces they're coming to look for Kylie Rodney, Sammy Smith goes to Montana. So what is he doing saying all this is about Adventures with Purpose? They came in 2 weeks later and found her.
He lost his total integrity with me because he released the footage, his drone footage of the car after AWP found Kylie. He said he had this footage from 2 days prior, but he hadn't reviewed it. Now, if you're an investigator and it's the first time you're allowed, because they dropped the no-fly zone, you're allowed to fly your drone, wouldn't you be anxious to go home and review that video?
Yeah.
He sat on it for 2 days, and after AWP found him, he's like, oh, I just reviewed it. Look, you can see it right here, which it was very clear in his... But he said that he had it for 2 days. He went home and he was tired, and then he got up the next day and, did a bunch of stuff. Well, you're a shitty investigator then if you didn't go home and review your footage every day.
Well, I mean, is this anger? Because, when that one guy found the laptop and Grandpa offered him money to go back out there and find more of her stuff, it was said that old boy was mad about that. Or is he mad at AW? Was he there to find her? I mean, obviously, he's a private investigator. He was putting stuff on Twitter all the time. So how long has he had this historical data and this screen recorder, whatever? And I don't believe that nobody between Placer County authorities and Nevada County park rangers, the people that fight forest fires, and the multiple FBI agents that were on foot in Truckee didn't know there was a fire cam. He knew it, but they didn't know. Come on.
Well, and it's like what tip or lead that led them to think that she was anywhere but there? Obviously, that came from somebody. I don't know. It's
But there's footage of the car, but there's not footage of the party at all.
That's what. Thank you.
There's the 300 people. Where's that big fire? Megan said. Where's that huge fire at they had in that party? Because that would definitely show up on the camera. The contradiction of the smoke would be easy to spot in the air.
Well, that's what I'm wondering too. If it's a fire cam, isn't it supposed to pick up fire?
Especially being a bonfire, not like a campfire, which would be a small fire. These kids probably had a bigger fire going. That'd pick it. And once it's spotted, it's supposed to stay on it, right? It's supposed to watch it. That's my thing. And then Megan made it clear there was a big fire there. That's what I'm saying. Like the whole community feels like it's okay. This girl got murdered. There's no problem with it. Like it's no big deal. That's how I feel. Everybody's acting. They're trying to swing a direction on this case. It's like, but everything just keeps coming. Even with the car going in, with multiple cars driving by, it just makes it seem like foul play even more.
All right, here it is. It's on the screen. Or they're okay with somebody driving in the water and all the other cars that were around not stopping to help the person or calling the authorities to come get help. And it's run through alertwildfire.org.
Man, those cars are watching her go in, dude, and they took off.
Oh,
Sickening.
God.
That's sickening.
So you see her going in the water. I'm still seeing.
I mean, if that's really her going in, let's just say if it's not, it's not. But if that's her, they're saying pointing at it. I'm just going off what's pointing at it. Like, if let's say this is a fact. That's not 100. None of us can say it's a fact. But let's say what they're saying is that's her going in. If those were all cars, they slowed down on that turn right there, and they watched it. And then a car ended up coming back down here and grabbing her. You know what I'm saying? Picking somebody up or something. If that was her, if let's say it was, but I mean, I can't say definitely, dude. I'm still like 50-50 on this video if it's even her going in. Do you know what I'm saying? It could be
Me too.
so I mean, it could be dude, we're looking from miles away. So right now, or you know what I'm saying, from distance away, it could be an illusion of someone driving by fast, and you know, I don't know, dude. The lights hitting the water and bouncing off. You know what I'm saying?
But there's other angles. I've seen this, believe it or not, and I don't know how the hell there could be another angle. As the video goes on, I'll play it. You see the cars continue around the lake. I mean, okay, so if she truly drove into the water or someone drove her into the water and jumped out, I don't know. No other car stopped to help whatever was going on. How is that not a crime?
That's the whole thing, and that's my point is that you can see there's multiple cars on that turn. It looks like they slowed down at a point, or they're not moving too fast. You know what I'm saying? And you can't tell me you don't see a car bounce up and down in the water for 30 seconds. You can't tell me that. I mean, to me, it's just that either they were drunk and scared, or everybody watched her go in. They knew what was going to happen. I mean, why would everybody leave the exact time she drives in? Like, I thought she was sleeping in her car for a little bit. Everybody left, and she was like one of the last people. You know, it's just that's why this doesn't line up. Or it does line up, and everybody knows what really happened. And they're bullshitting. You know what I'm saying? Because if they all left the same time, and she drove in when those what did that look like? 3 to 4 cars up there?
Yeah, and what about the road being blocked off? What about that whole story?
It kind of looked like it. What was that light what's that light like at the side of the road right there where they point at Kylie right there? Is this a light?
Yeah, and Cod said looks like the road was blocked from both sides.
It does. It looks like someone's on the right side, and look on the left. Do you understand? Look on the right. There's a little light right there. If you look on the right of Kylie's car in a diagonal angle, I don't know if that's the road to get in or what, but there's a light right there. Someone could be camping.
Everybody's seeing something different. Just remember, we're all trying to piece this together. There's no right or wrong. We're all
that's why I said I'm 50-50. I don't even, if it is her, I'm just basing off if we're basing off what we're pointing at Kylie, there was cars going up at the time that she was going in. You know what I'm saying? So if you look at the time and based on that, if that's really her, then there was cars there.
Soulfire says the car did stop at the crossroad, then proceed to supposedly go in the water. Why did it stop?
Maybe it was in neutral and it was muddy.
Jessica,
it got real thick. Remember,
yeah.
the water was decreasing quick, so it'd be real thick on that shoreline.
That's a really good point. It'd be kind of hard to, I don't know, some people are like, oh, she was driving fast. I don't know how you can tell from this.
At the very end, it'll be like quicksand, because that would be underwater for the most part of the whole winter. You know what I'm saying? The whole till the end of the summer, because that's the last part that was just decreasing.
Jessica said it stops for 8 seconds. Someone could have jumped out. All right, here we go.
They hauled ass out of there at the end. You seen that?
So
They
there was
hauled ass, dude. They came back to make sure the job was done, dude. Why would if that's really her, then that's my thing. I don't think SF Investigates is trying to. I don't know, because like he's trying to say it was an accident, and this doesn't make it look like an accident to me. If it's if he's putting out the correct information, you know what I'm saying?
Did you see the bright light across the way right on the edge of the water?
Yep, I've seen that too.
That was just for 2 seconds, like not even, probably 1 second. That light flashed on really bright and then went away right as the car was going in. But there was also 2 cars across the way, across the pier there, just on the other side of her, that would have seen headlights for sure.
Well, how are we seeing headlights unless it was going in backward?
Well, they may be tail lights, because I think when it goes dimmer and then goes brighter, it's the brake being pushed.
It could have turned around too. It could have turned around pretty quick. Remember, it could have been that quick light when it flipped over. If it flipped,
I don't think I would think that it would flip in the water because the engine would be heavy. So then it would go down first, and then there just was enough momentum to push it over.
Just turn it. Yeah,
that's just my opinion. But
is there a good Samaritan law in California? I don't know. I'm not picking on the state. I'm just wondering.
Well, I know this. In California, if you get in a car accident, and let's say I rear end you, and I go in to grab you and take you out the car, and I break your back trying to save your life because the car's on fire, I could be charged with hurting you.
Okay.
So I know that. So but you're supposed to help. It's you have to render aid. You have to in an emergency. If it's either call 911 or give mouth to mouth, you have to render aid. You can't leave someone dying. That is a crime. I don't know what crime it is, but I know you have to render aid.
Okay, Moxie said yes. There's a good Samaritan law in California. Jessica said 1236 mass exodus, 1234 someone reverses, 1235 she sinks. See, that's what I'm seeing too. Looks like the headlights are facing us, like she's going in backward.
I'm curious. Let's say that the car goes in at that time. How far is that from where the campground was?
This shows
roughly.
I got my settings and stuff here.
Just because my theory is that, let's say that somebody put the car in and they had to walk back as opposed to having another car over there. That what time do those other cars leave? I
want to see a 10 o'clock view and 11 o'clock view, and see what's going on at this party. How many cars were there? Because you should see all these cars pulling in at whatever time the party started. If there was 300 people there, we should see throughout the 8 to 9 p.m. Start time. We should see 10 to 15 cars for every 10 minutes, right?
Yeah. And if the windows
it's easy to debunk the story real quick. I mean, look at these cars leaving. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like 5, 6 cars, man.
Mm-hmm. Rockaway says if her windows are down, she would scream for help, and people all around that lake would have heard the sound carry.
100%. They would have heard the car go in the water, dude. There's no way that those people in the lake didn't hear that car splash if it was going that fast.
See, and it looks like 2 cars passing each other right here. So somebody comes around the bend. I mean, are we seeing car lights here? Where's the fire? Where's this big fire?
Well, the dot on the right there on the screen, that's back in the trees there. That's a fire.
Yeah, I see that. I see it late over there.
Odd that nobody else drove in the water. Now I'm looking at, I'm thinking about what Doug said and others. It's not a wrong turn road.
No, you have to go down there, right? It's like not just you. You would have had to have a reason to drive down that road because you would have turned left before that road.
I mean, Doug was at it. He's like, it's not a wrong turn road. I think about when JPL was talking to one of the deputies and she was there and we had JPL on the scene. And JPL was talking to a deputy that says, you know, we go out and look for hikers quite a bit, but this never happens. So you're telling me that deputy that was talking to her didn't know there was a fire cam?
Well, so at 1250 on this camera, there's another car that's in that same area, right?
Mm-hmm. Let me hit play.
I think you have to go back just a little bit.
Yeah.
So her car goes in at 1233 and then at 1250 on the timer down there. So that's really all turn. See, that one car stays there.
Fueled by Coffee in the private chat said there's 12. It's at 12:51. She said I could show you what happened with the car at 12:51.
Well, there was cars that were coming back in too, at like 12, like right after 12:33. Because you could tell when the headlights are shining towards the camera.
Mm-hmm. I'll go back to right here. Barb said 19,000 hours paid of taxpayer money. Woo! And here I'll just go to the website.
So there's 34. See the light on the other side came on there too. See, there's the light right there at 12:34 and 20 seconds.
All right, here's from the website, so it's not lightened up, so you have to really look. So this is at 12:20. Might as well go ahead and talk. If not, your eyes are going to go crossed. Everyone's not everyone. A couple people like this is heavily edited. So here's the real one. I say the real one. It's from. This is the website. I just went and put in. You can see August 6th. Barb said, "Where is the Starbucks Saturday morning footage?" That's as big as it can get. Karma said all those vehicles are full of suspects. I'm not in Pacific time, ADK. I'm not in Pacific time. I put in Pacific time. Do you see where it says Pacific Daylight Time?
This is at 10:23, right? Is that what it's saying? 22, 23?
Yeah.
This says August 5th. Why does it?
Yeah, so it's Friday night at 10 o'clock. That's right.
No, I need Saturday morning.
Oh, but this will be during the party though. That's what he's saying though. This will be the time the party will be going at.
Well, I don't know why it went back when that's not the time I put in.
Just hit the little add button at the bottom right there, the little check button, I think. The time scale frame.
The first time I would take your name to jail. If they try to question me to that, I expect I'm not about your name.
What's that noise?
I think you got something playing in the background from your last video. The other one.
It's just crazy. I think everybody involved should be charged. If this comes out, everybody that's came out and tried to like deflect this case should be charged to the extreme with the murder. I don't care if people don't agree with it or accessory to murder. You know what I'm saying? There should be no misdemeanors, nobody talking. If you got to put this much man hours, this much tax dollars into this case without people talking and helping, and it ends up being a murder, every one of these kids, anybody involved, anybody that's seen it should go down to the extreme, because you know how much wasted time, effort, and money they put in this case since day one. It's crazy, man.
It is. I mean, I see all the lights and everything like that. My vision obviously isn't that clear.
I mean, if you had an avid hunter on here and he was looking at this, I bet you he could tell you everything that's going on, because this is what they deal with all day. You know what I'm saying? They deal with the cameras when they're hunting deer and stuff.
Someone said if you remove the 1,000 milliseconds, it won't jump as fast. But I don't know if you can. Oh, it will let you do it.
I don't know. Well, I hit delete. I've only messed with this thing for a day and a half, so I couldn't tell you.
You could change it now.
Now the time, because I put the time in. So do you guys think this is, I'm asking everybody, I'm asking on panel, and I'm asking in chat, do you think this is Kylie driving into the water? Do you think it's somebody else driving? Or do you think it's not her car at all? Because if it's not her car at all, then we can forget about everything with roadside assistance. Ben says her car not driving. Her car. Gerald said it's all BS. Her car, but she wasn't driving. We had the story, and I'm not accusing anybody of anything, that said that Sammy's clothes were wet. Why was she in the backpack? What's up with roadside assistance? He said that he has cameras on his truck. He has audio. Doug confirmed that the detectives are very much in contact with him. Who knows what's going to happen November 1st when they come out? How is this video not going to be addressed? I mean, where's the sun when you need him?
Hi, Brooklyn.
What's up, ADK?
Okay, it says I'm in the show, but I don't see my little icon up there. I just wanted to let you know when I entered the date and time, I had to add 3 hours to the input because I'm in Eastern Standard Time for it to appear the correct time on Pacific.
It says Pacific Daylight Time.
Right, but that little icon at the top, what does it look like? I think it looks like a refresh button where you actually enter the date and time yourself.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Because like I was saying, like when I was doing it, I had to put in, what did I put in? I put in this 6 at, 3:30 a.m. and then it appeared to be 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Okay, I'm looking at it right now. It says seeker timestamp. I've only done this a million times. It's driving me insane.
Yeah, I think you need to go to the top of a little bit higher up on the, let me pull it up here so I can, we're looking at the same
High
thing.
as it goes. Because then if it any higher, I'm up where it says Chrome file edit. It says press O to access control panel. That's up. It says Saturday, August 6, 2022. I mean, if you wait a few seconds, you'll see it again. But anyway, what we saw before is the same thing anyway. So I think where I'm at right now is who to believe. That's the conversation. That's the hot topic. Who to believe? Do we believe roadside assistance that he saw Kylie Rodney's car Saturday afternoon? Do we believe that she drove into the lake by herself and not one person stopped?
Well, the roadside assistance guy, why would he risk his reputation with the company if it wasn't true? And AWP, why would they risk their reputation if the way that they found her in the car, they wouldn't do that?
We need the footage because it still doesn't rule out foul play, regardless if she drove her.
This
that
is my
night or
point.
not.
Look, I have a theory on this now.
Go ahead.
SF Investigates came out and said someone's name was mentioned by AWP, correct or not?
Yeah.
Correct or not? He said Saturday that car was seen at Boca. So if SF Investigates is trying to push his theory and saying he's right that they told him that name, then he's proven that Kylie's car went in on Saturday morning. So that might have been the guy seen at Boca, but it wasn't because it was Kylie's car. Do you get what I'm saying? And now he's trying to prove his point. And that goes back to earlier what my man Level Headed said earlier. This is all for SF Investigates, is only for his true, for his benefit to get the video released to him from AWP about the roadside assistant guy. Now it makes sense, Level. I see where you're coming from now, 100%. Because then this could because you know how he came out and he said a name, correct? He threw that name out. And if he gets that footage of the tow truck guy on Saturday and he could prove the car went in on Saturday morning, then that whoever was seen, he's not throwing them under the bus. They had nothing to do with the case. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you understand what I'm saying? That's why he wants that footage, because he did release a name for no reason, if you remember.
Who did? SF did?
SF released the name that started with a J and said that he was the guy seen by the tow truck guy. And this is 100% out of SF's mouth. This would make it beneficial for him to get that video to prove that he was right. Do you understand what I'm saying? And Level Headed earlier said that this could be manipulation to get the video from AWP.
Well, I think he's reaching to get more information so that he can go further into his investigation, because everything's come to a standstill. So right now you take things and you reach so that other people will give stuff up, but the integrity of the case will not allow AWP to release any of that footage until law enforcement comes out and says what they have to say. So
I agree with that 100%. That's law, you know, and they work with law enforcement. But him coming out with that name now, it kind of puts that connection there. Do you understand? Like when he came, he did say that though at one time, if we all remember. He did name drop, and he said that he learned that from AWP, and AWP denied that. If we remember.
I have this too, because when people, and they did, reached out to the teens when the AWP video came out, Kate was one of the first ones that said that's bullshit. She didn't even ask about the video or anything, didn't ask about any detail, just said that's bullshit. We saw Jagger go after AWP and say your witness is a liar. So I'm wondering, okay, I'm going back and forth, okay? I'm going back and forth because we all have different ideas, opinions, theories, speculation, whatever. If this is truly Kylie driving in that water or somebody else driving and leaving her there, then maybe the other cars or said driver already told a few people what happened and it was just an accident. We didn't know what to do. Because how can they, wouldn't you at least be curious? This is your friend and you want to know what happened. But they came right out and said that was a lie.
Well, and the guy and the tow truck driver, who is to say that that wasn't the car on Friday? Because he couldn't remember in that interview. But I mean, who knows if he even has access to the tape of the vehicle? Like that might just be the company having the access to the tape of the vehicle.
Well, AWP's video didn't come out for 2 weeks. I'm kind of thinking they kind of would have verified their info before they actually put it out on film, because it's not like they went live with this guy.
No, and it was like a month. They found her 2 weeks after she went missing. They didn't come out with the video for 2 weeks after. And they said, this detective has been talking to him. They're very well aware of him. Other people called, maybe even some of you, and they said, we're very well aware of him.
Right, because within that 2 weeks, the service guy could have called AWP and said, hey, I just talked to my boss and no, that wasn't them. And then AWP would have never even probably put that in there.
Mm-hmm. Now let's talk real quick, and we'll come back to that because I saw a few things about the GoFundMe. Now, I don't know, on YouTube, after Kylie was found, I put on my community tab, I said, I believe the GoFundMe, or a good chunk of it, is what I said. I didn't mean every penny, should go to Adventures with Purpose. This is before I knew about Lindsay's disdain of them, okay? I didn't know how bad she was not appreciative of these people. Okay, and, you know, a lot of people said, yeah, absolutely. I would, you know, if it was my daughter, I'd make a huge donation. Well, anyway, it's not up now because for some reason, I got to figure out how to change it. On the YouTube community tab, when I have time, I will. Like it expires. Like your posts, some of your posts go up for like 24 hours. Anyway, so we had this conversation about, you know, the money. Granted, it's not my money. I'm just saying if it was my child, I would be very appreciative. Not that my child was dead, but that they were found. They were found. So anyhow, now we know that I think it's Squirrel Girl that has started this petition. It may not be her, but I know that she definitely knows about it. I don't know who exactly started it. It's on change.org. I'm not telling you to go sign it. I'm just telling you about it. You're your own person. And a lot of old tweets, Facebook posts and stuff like that are coming up saying that this was presented to the public as a reward. What do you guys all think about that? What do you think is going to happen with it? Do you think that GoFundMe is going to get pressured? And because they've had problems in the past about rewards, people saying, I've got a reward, and then the reward doesn't go where it's supposed to go. GoFundMe, they guarantee the money. What are your thoughts on the reward?
I think it should go to AWP, and I follow Squirrel Girl quite a bit. Like I see, you know, obviously I'm subscribed. Mm-hmm. And she has a document ready to go to the Attorney General too, that somebody is going to pay this reward, and that it was kind of like a binding thing once you put it out there. There's two separate things. There's the GoFundMe issue, and then there's putting out the fact that a reward was offered regardless of where the money came from.
Now, wait, say that again. It was regardless of where the money came from.
AWP should receive the $75,000 that was on all the flyers.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You know what I mean? So there's two like legality topics, I guess.
And there's the argument that they don't ask families for money. They don't charge families, and they don't. I think the argument is you collected this money as a means to find your daughter. So maybe that's what they got mad about. They were just hoping law enforcement found her and they would keep the money. I don't know. I don't know the process.
So the GoFundMe was set up as a reward?
Yes.
Okay. So
yes, and then once she was found, they changed the topic to help the family.
But I don't think that I don't know how they work exactly, but I do know that you can get into a lot of trouble when you switch and not use the funds for what they were meant to be for, or you have to refund people. And I don't think you can switch it in the middle and get away.
That's what the claim is.
I think
He has all the videos up. They're really short in different like segments of the process that you can go and watch. You know what I mean? Because she's really done her homework.
Here, we're having a discussion here. What you guys think?
Well, I think the money needs to go to where it originally was desired to go to, or gets refunded to all the people that donated. And then they can do with the donations with what they want. I mean, AWP has a donation thing right on their website. So either way, if people want to help them, they can donate their money back to them. It's either one or the other. You can't use that funds for something else.
Well, I think that's a good idea. Amy, she's a realtor. I've heard she is Lindsay's realtor for the lodge, but if you go to the lodge listing, it's another guy on the site. I don't know either way. She started the GoFundMe. She promoted it. She came out August 7th. I'll put that back up. Hello, Billy. Welcome.
Well, hi. I've been sitting here watching your show. Thank you so much for your time and energy put into this. I've watched wondering, I haven't seen anybody mention the mayor. And anybody who knows how towns are run, the mayor is in charge of hiring, firing, everything. And the way the Truckee way appears to work, and I'm only speaking from experience of research. I've done a lot of child trafficking research, etc. And one of the first things we do in a town where things like this are happening is you go to the hierarchy. And no one has mentioned what the mayor, her name's Courtney, by the way, I can't remember her last name, but she's been, I believe since 21 maybe, she's been the mayor. And the mayor has the authority to hire, fire, bring people in by the nape of the neck, like a mom would by the ear. And in this town, because of the Truckee way, because of the way it's set up, and this is just from my observation, you've got the code of silence, which is why you only have a handful of people actually coming out and talking. The town itself, the city council, will be very much involved in who says what about this town. But the mayor, has anyone mentioned Mayor Courtney? Where is she in all of this? Because she's the one I think a call should be made to, or someone should go to her office and just politely ask, this is what's important to me when we've got a dead child, regardless of what footage you're seeing now or anything else, it all can be manipulated. Every bit of it. It's all about the timing of how things come out. And it's very suspect. It's like SF is covering his butt because he put out a name, as your gentleman said earlier, that he shouldn't have said unless he was directed to, because it created chaos and controversy and division. Mm-hmm. Well, where's the mayor? She's the one who can stop the division. She's the one who has the authority to make people do things and to release things. That mayor could tell the police department, look, we've got to put something out, or the sheriffs, excuse me, there's different jurisdictions. These are sheriffs. Something needs to be put out. And if it's not being put out, why what is coming out is coming out in such suspect forms? Why is this mayor and this town council, who by the Truckee Way has their own code of silence, and they have their own authority, they have their own level of how things get out and how things are said. I'm just going to leave, because I've heard nobody
They don't
talk
mention
about
it
this.
here. And any time that we have brought that up, we've had, well, recently we've had a local on here a couple of times that reverts back to tourism.
It's not, though. The mayor's job is your sheriff, police. The mayor's the authority, hire and fire.
No, I 100% agree with you. What I'm saying is, if the mayor is down with this and the mayor is saying, no, let's just keep this as hush hush as possible, kids partying in the woods, driving after curfew, driving around with alcohol in their cars, all that stuff, because we want tourists.
Which is a great possibility.
Yeah, the problem. Yeah.
Go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
No, honey, that's what I was going to say. There's always intent. What is the intent here? Intent in a city, when you have a mayor in that, what is it? The health of the community. And when I mean health, I don't mean coughing, sneezing. I mean financial. The whole thing about these cities and their municipalities is how much money is where can we put it in a coffer? Where can we bring a bond in? It's always about the money.
Yeah.
And so this mayor has a duty to the public. And this is my last statement I want to make for you. And then I'll let you guys, as they say, speak amongst yourselves. But
no,
if you've got a potential killer on the loose, okay, they're saying that they've investigated one child, and he's not a child, like this young man, they've been cleared. Well, you can't clear anybody unless you have unequivocal, verified facts and evidence that they didn't do it. And what we're seeing is nothing that verifies it to the public. When you have someone who's out there killing, look what's happening in Stockton. I'm in Orange County, California. Mm-hmm. So Stockton, this killer is all over the news.
Yeah.
We've got, and you can't even, this whole thing was done. It was done fast. They were brought in. It was discussed. It was done. Right. It's not done, but we know who's there. In this case, you've got video, you've got audio, you've got everything in the face, giving enough in dots connecting where this mayor should be coming out. But we're talking about where is this making money? I can tell you, I would never go to Truckee now. So this is not good for tourism. So I don't buy that one. Okay. Nobody's going to Truckee. If they've got kids, who as a parent, I've got 5 kids. My youngest just turned 18. Enough problems go on with 18-year-olds who think they're adults to begin with. But this town lets their 18-year-olds run their town. So this is a very odd situation. Either it's one of the hugest psyops being used for how does this type of situation affect the social outcome of the community and the surrounding communities in the nation, or we've got a town who somehow is going to lose a ton of money or make a ton of money in one way. It's either one or the other, but it always comes back to the money. They don't give a crap about these kids. I'm sorry. When you're running a town, go look how much corruption is at the top. Your school districts are some of the biggest corruption there is. So it's not about the children. It's about the money.
Wow. You took the words out of my mouth.
Where do they draw the line?
Sophisticated way. Hats off to you.
It's true. It's just the corruption. I've lived 16 years of my life under corruption. I've been attacked by sheriffs. I know for a fact there's good sheriffs and bad sheriffs. I know for a fact there's good people on your city councils and there's bad people. And guess what? The bad people get railroaded out. So if you've got a city council sitting right now in Truckee, and I hope they're listening, those are the people out there like me who don't call into these shows normally because we're afraid, because we know what happens to people. You've got a situation here that is owed to the public's health and safety. If you've got a killer on the loose, even if it's an 18-year-old that you know about, what happens when that kid has to kill somebody else because they know too much? That does happen. This isn't just making shit up.
Nope.
Amen. Amen.
It's time to put this story to bed.
Mhm.
We're all sick and tired of every day there's some new thing dropped. Well, why is that? It's because it's being manipulated from the top. So Mayor Courtney, you need to get your ass out of your office and out from underneath your desk and start answering some questions for this town. And if you want this town to have tourism, I can guarantee you, you're not going to have a lot of tourism this year with people with children, because all they're hearing right now is that you're a cult. Who the hell wants to go in a cult town and take children who are the first ones taken into these? Come on, this doesn't even make sense for tourism. None of this makes sense.
Bingo.
Yeah, who would want to pack up the family and go now?
Nobody.
Yeah,
Unless,
let's go
unless
spend
you
a
want to
weekend
be
in
a
the
part of
woods.
this.
Let's go
Yeah.
spend a weekend in the woods with our family and let our kids go play in the snow by themselves where the kids
Yeah.
went missing. Yeah, good one. That's
Yeah.
really
I'm
good,
not
good
going.
points.
Nobody's going. And the only way this is going to be fixed, and I hope you guys start talking about this, because the narrative is everything. You're allowing on these shows this town to run your narrative. You're allowing this town and SF Investigates and Xana May and all these others who are put in there as psyops. You're not going to convince me these people don't know each other and that this hasn't been planned. This is the easiest social manipulation platform on the face of the earth. YouTube. And you've got wonderful people like yourselves out there going, why? And we've been doing it for what? How many weeks now? And just 2 days ago, this video drops. I'm not buying it.
Yeah,
I'm not buying it.
That's what I was saying at the beginning of the show. I said, you can't tell me nobody between those two counties did not know there was a damn fire cam run by Alert California.
Guess what? You go to the police or the sheriff's department there. You go to fire authority. My property that was stolen by bad sheriffs, thank you very much out there, you know who you are, is in a fire area. The first thing they're going to look to is those freaking cams. I'm sorry, people, you're naive if you think that this narrative hasn't been thought of right from the beginning. This whole thing about this reward not going to AWP, they knew where this child was. That stupid reward screams of fraud. All of a sudden, it's no longer now, they change it from help us find Kylie to her name's removed and help the family. And AWP doesn't care whether they get this or not. Mm-hmm. It would be a great gift to them because they do wonderful things. But why are they the bad guy? Because they found the car that would have been unearthed, or the water would have receded within 2 weeks anyhow. So that child would have been found. So what happens at that GoFundMe Monday when nobody actually finds her? It goes to the family. It goes to Lindsay. This isn't hard.
Do you think that's why she was not thanking them and a little begrudging towards them?
Okay, common sense.
Uh-huh.
My opinion, yes. My opinion, yes, because that town has a code of silence. They gather as a community to decide how the community is going to handle this at the city council level. You have to have somebody signing off on all this money's spent. You've got 20,000 hours worth of manpower on the books. Okay, but what are the books? Who's actually got paid? Is the money still actually just collected to pay these and sitting in an account somewhere that somebody's smoking a stogie with feet up on the desk going, God, these people are naive. We can create this anywhere in the country. And that's how they've done it. You appropriate funds by creating a catastrophe and chaos. And then nobody's looking on the books. I would love to see somebody go into that mayor's office and say, the public has a right to see the books. Show us where these police and sheriff and everybody was paid. Show us there was actually 20,000. Well, now it's got to be like 25,000 hours to bill for. Prove the billing. When you start at the bottom and work your way up to the top of who's getting paid, everything falls into place. Because I'll bet you a lot of that 20-some thousand man hours wasn't man hours. It was just on the books.
Absolutely. It's just billable hours. It's like when you
And
call an attorney. They take
and
your phone call, and next thing you know, they wrote down that they talked to you for an hour.
You're
And
at the
and
donut
at
shop.
20,000 man hours, I figured it was at least 3.2 million given to that town.
Mm.
And remember, it's taxes they say that they collect. So the town's paying for all this. This is a very wealthy town. 3.2 million is not a lot of money to them. It sounds like a lot, but 3.2 in a wealthy town, that's nothing. That's a home. That's one house. C'est la vie. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's not that much money to you, to your normal people like us out here, scraping every dime together to buy food and to pay for gas here is $7 an hour, $7 a gallon here.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, when you start thinking about how you change the narrative, how do you collect funds for your town? This isn't about this town's tourism at all, unless the type of tourism they're looking to turn into is cults. People coming there out of curiosity, like these people who do ghost homes, ghost
towns.
houses.
Yep.
What are they trying to do to this town? Or just come out and say, you know what? She was dead. Mistakes were made. We should have never let this happen. It should have never gotten this far. We should have had less control of the kids and the people of the town versus the actual authorities. Because with the way this town is set up, the sheriff and police aren't in control. The people are. And if you go in and you look at how communities are set up across this country, most people have no clue that there's towns that have their own police force, that have their own laws, that have their own rules on the book that have nothing to do with your national, federal, or state. They're separate. They're separate, sovereign groups, and they create their own communities. Dearborn, Michigan, for one, huge out there.
Did you find it odd that with such a pandemonium going on, of course, the mayor never addressed anybody, and you would think with a community meeting every day, a press conference every day, that, because they keep talking about the Truckee way, the code of silence, then why do you have news there from Sacramento, Reno, San Francisco, and the mayor during an election year? I mean, midterms are coming up, wouldn't address the public. And where was the sheriff the whole time? Where was Sheriff Wu? We saw Sheriff Moon, who could barely choke out a sentence and said, "We believe this is our missing person." And now a couple of days ago, and I don't know how long anyone has known about this. Do you believe that it's Kylie in that video that she drives into the water?
No.
Okay.
No. Not at all.
So
That's it could be her car, but then the second, when you investigate things, that's my opinion today based on what I've seen. That doesn't mean it's not a living opinion, meaning opinions can change based on the facts presented. So when people say, "What's your opinion?" My biggest thing is if you opine without facts, you're not giving an opinion of value. Where are the facts? The facts right now point to the facts. We have, whether you believe this roadside assistant guy or not, we have a car that you have to have when he said he got called. Okay, you've got a car that's been verified. What's the license plate? What happens when you call AAA? They say, "What's your car? What's your license plate?" Right? So in the system, her car and license plate are on there. They've only shown 10% of what this guy said. So by what I'm opining on to answer this, I know this is a long answer, but I want you to know why I take it seriously. That doesn't mean tomorrow you could ask me what my opinion is and I see something different in fact that changes my opinion. But facts matter. That video is not facts verified. That roadside assistance guy is not facts verified. But because of AWP, and because of their reputation is hung right now in midair. If this turns out that they put all of this weight on coming public and backing this roadside assistance guy, saying, "Nope, he's good, he's credible," they put their whole reputation on this. After this, if something comes out that roadside assistance guy, and people can say, "Oh, no, they just believed him." No, they hung their reputation on that. They went public and said it was verified. They could
And why
only
would they do that? Why would they are not
They
going
would not put their reputation on the line. So when
No.
you ask me why my opinion is, I cannot believe that is her car going into that water when we have such a reputation on the table saying that the car, now the only thing they didn't identify was her. They never said the girl was identified. They said the guy was. But now they have the video. Okay, video is great, but guess what? What if the girl on the video kept her head turned and she had a hoodie on? What if she never looked the direction of the camera? So there could be a reason this guy says the male was identified, the girl wasn't. Okay, and then people will say, well, why hasn't there been an arrest yet? If you watch cases across this country, there was a case, and I can't remember where it was, but I remember the case. The mother actually brought the murderer living with her in her home when they found out that kid 2 years later was arrested for the murder of her child. So when people say, oh, why haven't they done it now? Well, depending on who's doing a real investigation, and you have to remember too, in hierarchy, the feds can be kicked out of the county by the sheriff. The sheriff has the authority. The sheriff has the authority to have the federal agents leave. The sheriff has the authority to kick anybody out of that town. So if you've got a city council, go ahead, honey.
But who has the authority over the sheriffs? Because
your sheriff is the sheriff is the highest authority in their jurisdiction.
Yeah,
period.
sheriffs are the highest. That's the same as in California. The sheriff has the number one. Usually, if it's their jurisdiction, they're number one. So the same as mine. I live in Alameda County right now. So
yeah.
Alameda County
Well, I have a friend who was a sheriff back in Kentucky. He literally kicked the feds out of his jurisdiction. He had judges arrested. Now, guarantee you, he went through hell after that. But the sheriffs have the authority. So these sheriffs that are sitting in those chairs, they're sitting in those chairs because they're not directing crap. That sheriff's not doing their job. And who's the sheriff's kind of boss? Who can fire the sheriff? The mayor.
No, but not just one mayor. That's the thing. The mayor is the mayor of the town cops, not the county sheriffs.
Exactly. The sheriff is, but they can get rid of the sheriff. The mayor can get rid of the sheriff, even though they're elected. They're an elected position. Believe me, they can get rid of whoever they want to. And the other thing to remember is that those with good intent ask a lot of questions. Those with good intent to find answers, as you're doing on this show, as all these other podcasts, some aren't doing it for the right intent. I can tell you from watching them. It's all about clicks and money. But some are really saying, why? The worst and most important thing, the worst thing for this town and the most important thing for justice is to get answers. Not be placated, not be given videos dropped, weeks later that they've had forever. There's a reason.
2 months, my friend. Today's October 7th. 2 months.
2 months. Well, and that's in time of justice and law enforcement, 2 months is nothing. You can go 2 years before they know who the kid was. They know who was.
Years, but the thing is, this is on a website anyone can access. It's not like this was released by the news. Anyone can go to Alert California, put in Alder Hill. There's a tutorial on there to show you how to use the website. It's a damn
but it's all you have no idea if you think that can't be manipulated somewhere by somebody.
That Wayback machine or website, I'm telling you, it was changed. It's weird.
I'm telling you, from everything I'm seeing,
100%, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, and there's no way when you think logically. Okay, I'm not always logical. I'm a mom of 5 kids. For criminy sake, I'm lucky to have a noodle left in my head after raising 5 kids. But when you start looking at facts, okay, we hear even AWP was told there was upwards of 400 kids at this party. Okay, when they start talking mass exodus on this video you're watching, that's not 100 cars. That's not even 50 cars. That's maybe 30 cars. And some of them, maybe 30 cars. And some of them are just passing through. Now, you've also been told this is a huge end of the year party, a 2-hour party where a fight breaks out. Okay, so what if fight breaks out? You're a friendly fight party. Fights are going to break out. They expect it. This Juan character was a referee at these parties for these days.
Blows my mind.
It doesn't mind, because the closer you get to this, who's talking? The people talking are the ones who have a vested interest in the outcome. You're not hearing anybody who comes on like I'm doing now is quickly forgotten, because by tomorrow or the next day, you can bet they're listening to me. And I'm so mad that so much time is wasted on things like this, that the mayor, the town council, the sheriffs, they could hush this up in a good way. In a good way. The FBI could hush it up in a good way. The local paper could, but nobody's going to, because they're taking directions from further up. So what is the actual intent of showing us this girl when we've got thousands of missing children across this country?
Yeah.
Why such interest in her? There's always, like Gabby Petito, great, but why such interest in her? She was a YouTuber. She was an influencer, right? Okay, this starts to make sense that YouTube's making a hell of a lot of money off of you people doing these shows, first of all.
Oh, you're telling me they take half of everything. People love to come in here and bitch. And I'm like, do you not know how this goes?
So start to follow the money.
Club.
YouTube's going off the charts financially.
How much money your Facebook groups make? How much money Twitter makes?
The
They're
best
gonna
thing
go
we could
through.
do for our children, the best thing we could do, and I watched a social interaction seminar on this, and taking these cell phones out of the hand of our children, and I mean this dead seriously. We've got 8-year-old kids running around with cell phones, and parents think they're blocking all this stuff. You can't block the stuff these kids can get to.
So dangerous.
Get these cell phones out of the hands of children. Put landlines back in the house where a kid has to have his feet up on the wall with a cord somewhere attached to it so mom can actually roll them in, and go back to basics. This town, Truckee, is as far from Mayberry as you can get. There has to be some mediary. And the other thing is, I believe in my soul that at some point in the next 20 years, because of the damage social media has done to our families, friends, marriages, everything, and to our children are the most damaged right now by this social media content, because they are vilified, they are laughed at, they are bullied behind the scenes by children and other adults, etc., who know they can't be seen. So this child or this person is getting attacked and being belittled at a time when you're forming your identity. So if this is a psyop of the biggest rewards, these cell phones, the best thing about all of this is it did bring people together. I think this was a side effect that wasn't expected in all of this. And this isn't a conspiracy theory. I firmly believe that we've been put in a place in our social system where so much damage has been done purposely. But the other side of that is the light has come through because people like us are talking about it, saying this is horrible, this is not good, this needs to be stopped. We need more light shed on Truckee. Where? At the top, at the mayor. Get into the mayor, have that sheriff, that mayor, the city council, without the children in the room, without the children directing them. Because if you watch when they stand up and the kids talk or the locals talk, those sheriffs look like they're dogs with their tails between their legs.
Yep.
They sit there quiet like they've got duct tape on their mouth. Why? Because that's what they're doing. Somebody's running the show up there, and it's the money. And
Yeah.
I hope when this all comes out that this young girl can be laid to rest.
She was cremated already.
Well, she's not resting, I can tell you that. She's not resting.
Without a cause of death.
Which is not, mostly you don't see that. The body's not even released until the toxicology and all that. Normally they don't even release the bodies for the family to have until all that's done. Families wait months. Some have waited up over a year to get their body to bury.
I got chewed up for that when I said there's no way in hell I would cremate my child. I don't care if they told me, hey, we've got plenty of tissue, we've got hair, we got dishes full of stuff. Don't worry if something. No way.
No
way could I.
And the other thing, think of this, Brittany, that same week, the biggest fentanyl bust is in that area.
Well, what about human remains that were found a couple of weeks ago?
And what about the couple that went missing at the same time she did? No mention of them.
And Jalissa?
I mean, seriously, think about it. Where's the talk about that? I haven't seen them found or their car in the water. And the whole point of this going to the money is it wouldn't have been but maybe 14 days after AWP found her that she would have been uncovered anyhow, because the water would have receded.
Yeah, I had a
So
legal email me and said, if they really think this is some sort of cover up and they plan to get rid of Kylie Rodney never to be found again, they said, you're crazy, because in a matter of days, we would have seen the tires sticking up.
and guess what? What does that mean? Common sense. 20-some thousand hours billed, a GoFundMe put up. This is all about money. She would have been found anyhow. And what do you say? Hey, just be quiet. We're billing. We don't want this to get out. We're putting, a few million on the books that we can use later. Everybody's watch. How many are getting raises in the next 6 months? Because when that money comes in and there's a few million sitting there, the first thing they say is they'll either say the school district, the teachers need a raise. And then if the teachers get a raise, then the supportive staff has to get a raise. And
Sure.
you can't have the administration making less than the supportive staff and the teachers, so everybody there gets a raise. So it's going to reverberate and domino in a way that would have been if AWP hadn't have shown up, this wouldn't have been a big story. I mean, a girl passed. That to me as a mother, I can't even fathom. I had a child with cancer who lived through it, and I know what it did to me.
Oh, honey.
So to have a child pass, it always comes back to the money. If AWP hadn't shown up, and this is why they're being vilified, it's like a goddamn it, they put a wrench in all of this by finding her before we could just bill and everybody get their paycheck, have a great Christmas, get their raises. It happens. This is how it happens in jurisdictions. They use chaos and controversy to create funds for the community. And I'll tell you what, there's another reason people go into politics, and it sure isn't because like the old days when it was supposed to be originally, you come in, you volunteer, you're not there for a paycheck. Everything's about a paycheck now, and corruption. And every town, every municipality, every borough has it. Every stinking one across this country.
Well,
I guarantee it.
The GoFundMe always puzzled me. One, how fast it went up. People said, well, it's because they think they're going to need ransom. Well, that's so stupid. Who would let the people that are holding your child know that you're raising money? They'd keep them forever. Oh, there was
And
another.
where was the alert? Where was the child, the Amber Alert? They didn't put one out, but
No, there was none.
There was nothing.
that's bullshit. That's a bullshit story. It's another narrative.
Then
Why.
Then I see the amount, 150,000. We hear it's for reward, search and rescue. Nobody told them they were going to have to pay for anything. So it gets up to like $63,000. Okay, she's found, yet it stays open. Okay, so I'm like, this is an affluent community. These people piss $60,000.
Oh yeah, they go into the bathroom and piss away 150 grand. I had someone very wealthy tell me that.
That's all that's donated, and that 60,000 was from people in the YouTube community. It wasn't even from their own community. Lindsay talked about the community. She's the community's child. Well, I would want a new community. You know why?
Me too.
Is Kylie Rodney driving into that water? Nobody on that road gave a shit.
Right.
Nope.
Nobody checked the fire cam.
Right.
Nobody.
No, stop. You don't know that for fact. That's your opinion.
Yeah. Okay.
See, remember, facts and opinions matter. If you're opining like you're saying, that's your gut, which is probably, I have to say, I'm sure they checked those cams right away. Within 48 hours of her going missing near water and in a forest, they checked those cams.
Yeah,
Well,
but they're
then
going to see that
it would be something else. I guarantee they know about this camera. There's no way they didn't. There's just
They know. It's
know
top
about
of the charts. And when people say, oh, there was a bonfire. Okay, well, where in that video do you see a bonfire? It's a fire camera. You would see a bonfire. I don't care. You're going to see a bonfire that big on that video.
But in the press conference, they would have said that they had that camera when they were asked, though.
Well, they didn't specifically.
No, they can lie to you during their investigations. They can lie. They lie through their teeth during investigations. They'll tell you so-and-so said so-and-so did it, And there was never a so-and-so telling anybody did it. You've got,
100%.
remember, you've also got informants. This is a huge drug trafficking area. Huge.
Yes.
So you've got informants in there. And I'm just going by what I know from Orange County. It was called Tread Files. They had files of all these informants. They had this guy busted just a few years ago here in Orange County. They were using undercover gang members, like taking them off. These guys were making $600 an hour. They were paying them money to be an informant and sit in back seats of vehicles with people in handcuffs, like they were being arrested at the same time to get information, and they were being paid. The corruption out there, when did it become more advantageous to be a criminal? When they started paying politicians to hold seats in office. When attorneys are required in these counties before you can do anything, who's making the money? It's sure not the town benefiting or the children, because the town's business, your sheriffs and your police are there to protect the municipality. Well, that's not you and me, sister. That's their business. The sheriffs, the police departments were created in the 50s to protect businesses because so many people were in an uproar about corporatism. This was not, when you actually know the hierarchy of a town, how the jurisdiction works, it really becomes very simple. It's the money. Yeah. And that girl would have been found in that car. Was she there the whole time? Who knows? Because by the time they found her 14 days later, the decomposition would have been such that you would have been really not able to know as much. But the way they found her body with fish in there, I mean, those fish were active in those videos.
Oh, it's awful.
You're telling me her face wasn't, there's no way. She couldn't have been.
She would have been tore up by those stripers. Those stripers in that lake would have ate her up. I don't care if they're 4 pounds or 6 pounds. Those are fucking carnivores, dude. They would have tore her face up.
That's what I'm thinking too, dear. But again, you and I recognize that as a fact. But was there something blocking her face? Well, no, because her face was right in the window. So there's the seat belt. Okay, there's no way you're going to convince me now that that seat belt wasn't holding her body. That girl, was she killed? Who knows? Was it an OD? Could be. But either way, somebody felt they were going to get in trouble for her being dead and put her body in the back of that car and put her in the water. That $63,000 would have been much more by then, because our community of helping people and families in your heart, if everyone listening to your show just gave $5, it matters. That GoFundMe would have been way up there. And there makes what?
110%. And the car would have showed up by itself and no one would have got it. You're 100.
Exactly. And there wouldn't have been all of this talk. There wouldn't have been YouTube making, I can tell you, YouTube's making a buttload of money. When you look how many shows have the exact same cam footage found Kylie's car. How do you know it's Kylie's car? That's false information being put out. You don't know it.
That right here. We're like, how do we even know? Nobody has shown us a license tag. I don't even see a Honda CRV.
Nope.
And
look what Brian Upchurch found. Where's that car in any other videos? And then, okay. Oh, I know. Here I go again. I'm sorry. I'm chatty Cathy today. The other thing that interests me is when you look at the lodge, the type of retreats they have. Look at the retreat and their brochure for the 12 to 15-year-old girls. Now, these pictures have sage, they have crystals, they have life cards. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, because I'm very spiritual. And if that's what your belief is, and that is your tool in order to feel good about yourself or to give a message, that is how it is. No one has a right to tell someone, unless it's nefarious and being used in a nefarious way to get those girls' mind manipulated. 12 to 15-year-old girls are the most easy to manipulate by somebody who's a predator. So go look at that. That to me it could be a very innocent thing. But when you start looking at the community as a whole, and you start looking at the grounding, everybody's barefoot at this, ceremony for her life. But she's not actually the center of the ceremony. The people are. The community is. You've got a community that was center in that celebration, not her. There was symbols of her at that celebration, But the mom even changed the song to omit God. So whoever their belief system in all of this is, was it a religious thing they cremated her so quickly for? Well, I'll tell you what, you go to other communities where they're not allowed to do anything to that body until it's been cleansed or anything by the family. And they don't even get to touch those bodies until the reports are done, until toxicology's in, until everything is finished. So how do we go from a religious standpoint? They are very spiritual. They're not religious, okay? Sage, crystals, cards, 12 to 15-year-old girls going to these retreats at the lodge, which appears to be the center of this town for some reason. This lodge is like,
many locals have never heard of the lodge before, and they never knew about it.
I've never heard of it, and I've been there
no
over 100
code
times.
of is there a thing called a code of silence in that town? They're telling you they've never heard of it. Baloney. They've heard of that lodge. That lodge has a Facebook page. That lodge has brochures. There's no way in heck you're going to convince me that town doesn't know about that lodge. How can Sammy know everybody? How can Lindsay know that whole town? If they don't know that lodge and that family, how did they get that many people out there? Was it social media that did it? No, because they were all damn barefoot. They're a community. They know each other. And they're the first ones to tell you. Megan told you that. Everybody here, the locals know each other. We're a family. We're a community. Kylie was the community's child.
Exactly. And that's why Megan, it wasn't about Kylie dying. It was more about trying to fix the situation, about the community, about the people involved. You notice that it wasn't about Kylie. It was about Sammy, about how everybody's treating people. You know what I'm saying? How everybody's talking about it. It wasn't about let's figure out or let's get to a point. And she's exactly on the point where all of them are barefoot. They all knew. Look, I lived in San Lorenzo in the East Bay in Alameda County. It's 18,000 people. I know every single thing in my city, every single spot. You know what I'm saying? This is the biggest Truckee. There's no way they live there their whole life and not know where someone lives or a hotel. You know what I'm saying? You've been everywhere in your city. You explore.
Well, and think about this too. Kate and Jagger sleeping together. Who else are they sleeping? These kids are all sleeping with each other. I mean, they know each other intimately. So you don't have kids who know each other that intimately, who are doing drugs together, who are doing drinking together. You have a mom saying, oh, it's the Truckee way. It's been done this way for decades. Okay, great. But guess what? Everywhere in this country, you have underage drinking. You're going to have kids doing it. But I can't fathom their mindset saying, oh, it's just the way things are. We know about these parties. They'll sleep it off in their car if they're too drunk to drive. And everybody knows. And Kylie was a smart girl. She would have never left anybody, but yet her friends all leave her. So none of this makes sense as a community. If she's a community's child, as a community, your team of young adults and children that were at that party know that they have a duty as a community to take care of each other. That's what this whole community is about. So if anybody's buying Sammy's story or any of these stories about them leaving this girl behind, then they themselves, in doing so, have violated the highest ethics of that town's charter. I'm not buying it. They're taught from that community that everybody matters. They make decisions as a community. They're groups, they're teams. These are teams. And this is all, they've got their own little cult going. That's what it is. They've got their own little community, which is a cult. A cult is just a community. Saying cult doesn't mean bad. It just means it's cult-like behavior. It's creating one community under which the people live in order to protect that community. And she's the community's child. She passed. So guess what? She's no longer there. So who is there left to protect? The living. She can't be protected anymore. They've already destroyed her reputation as far as saying she was drunk and using drugs. And the mom doesn't even come out and say anything against it. Yeah. And where are the parents? Where are the parents of these other kids? If you and I, Brittany, I can swear to God, if you and I were in the same room and we knew somebody lost a child, it was our community, you and I'd be going up there going, nobody's talking secrets here. We want the truth. And I, as a mother, my kids can tell you, their friends, I only have one child of mine that isn't afraid of me. Even their friends would say, oh my God, don't make her mad. Because guess what? I'm going to get answers. I want to know. Mm-hmm. And if you've done something wrong, you're going to be held responsible. The community isn't responsible for the errors you make. You are. But yet in Truckee, the community is responsible for the errors made by their children, by whoever is in there, because by their virtue of their charter and their Truckee Way paperwork, they're taking responsibility for anything everybody does in that town that is part of Truckee. So therefore, if I have to be a part of this town and I do something wrong, the whole community has to come in and either clean it up or clear it out.
Well, they
And they
cleaned
it up.
Party the next morning.
Yep. Well, that was, again, that's what they do. Nobody wants the trash. These people are all about the earth. You don't want to leave the earth strewn with trash and debris and things. This is what they're going to do anyhow. It's not just because it was that party. They were going to do it anyways. They clean up because that's part of, you don't want to be walking barefoot over broken glass. If you know what I mean. These people clean up. Their whole thing is about this.
What I mean.
Yeah.
I don't clean up after my children.
But they do.
That's what I'm saying. That's the difference. No, I don't want anybody walking on broken glass. And I'm not saying be a trashy person and don't care about things like that.
And that was not what I was implying. So I apologize if that sounded like that. What I'm saying is the intent of this town is to be a community. Where one goes, we all go. And therefore, in that mentality, there can be a wonderful community. We take care of each other. If you're hurting, think about the Mormon community. They take care of themselves. If you've got a toothache, oh, we got a doctor here. Oh, I can't afford it. That's okay. We'll help you. You've got different religious communities that if you are a part of that community, you're taken care of. You're loved. You feel like you're part of something. Well, that's how this town appears to me. They're people who love each other, who have their community, who don't want the type of community other towns have. They have their own hierarchy. They have their own way of dealing with things. They have their teams. When things go wrong, they break up into teams and discuss it. They don't go straight to vilifying people. Their whole thing is peace, love, and let's make it work in our community for those in our community. And right now, we're the biggest threat to their community because we're talking about it. We're bringing attention to that which they value the most, which is their code of silence.
Well, I wonder how they took it when every day they were on the news. They were having press conferences saying somebody knows something, or why Lindsay was on News Nation, KCRA. I saw her on the Today Show saying, my daughter left the party and nobody saw her leave. Please, 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 somebody say something. Somebody say something.
They never thought her car would be found. They thought it would just be unearthed. And the other thing you have to think of is that, of course, they want to give that appearance. Think about
100%.
how far our system has come. We now, 20 years ago, when was Truckee formed? Think about when Truckee was formed. Think about what the social media was at the time. Think about the community. Think about how word traveled. So at the inception of this town for the Truckee Way and everything else, things were different. It was different times. So if you have a playbook that says, okay, we're going to do A, B, C, D, and this is what we believe we should do, and this is how it should be handled, and then you come to 2022 and have this huge thing happen, and you have social media. This is not planned for decades ago. No one decades ago could have planned for how you and I would be sitting on a YouTube station talking about Truckee, California, and their Truckee Way, because it was a code of silence that could be kept prior to the light of social media. And this is where social media backfired for those who wanted to control us through social media, because those who can't be controlled,
it works because you get a bunch of people together and they're trying it. I mean, look at all the people that lose their Twitter accounts, and some for good reason. Look at people that get put in Facebook jail, like, they're a toddler for, hell, I can't stand Facebook. I mean, I'm afraid to even post an emoji. I'll be in.
I'm not even on it. But I was kicked off in 2020. I was completely kicked off, and I tried to go back, and then I was like, you know what? It causes such anxiety, and you see so much degradation, so much Kardashian. I'll put it that way. It's what do you want your life to be? You surround yourself with. Well, okay, maybe you don't want your life to be full of all this controversy and chaos, but if you're constantly on social media, that is what you are going to get through Twitter, through Facebook, through these platforms. You're going to get chaos and controversy, because what sells? Chaos and controversy. So the first thing you do is, what's going on in Truckee right now? It wasn't meant to be this controversial with this much chaos. We lost a child. Somehow she died, whether it was accident or whether somebody panicked and she was, there's an answer, whether we ever get it or not, but it was never meant. That body was in the water. Nobody was going to find it ahead of time, because that creates questions of, well, how did you know to look there, right? The police didn't even find her. But she would have been uncovered, because the truth, and in these kind of communities, what do they say? The truth always comes through. So her body would have been found.
Oh,
And none of this.
within days, maybe at the most a couple of weeks, because like I said, people were like, do they not understand how evaporation works and how the lake shifts?
Exactly.
And they would have seen the tires.
Well, and it's not a real lake. Think about
But
it.
the longer they wait, though, remember, the longer she sat in that water, the better it supports an accident, because that body would have decomposed faster. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It would have floated. It might have floated out of that back sooner or later, got out of that back hatch. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But that body would have been more damaged.
And then the video that you're seeing released the last 2 days would be the end of it. They would have released that video and say, okay, we saw it go into the water and somehow we missed this. We made a mistake. Guess what? Mistakes aren't illegal. Covering mistakes becomes no longer a mistake. That becomes a known fact.
Can I ask a question? I'm sorry to interrupt. So do you think, Brooks and everybody on the panel, do you think that the video of some lights that look like they're going into some water there at 12:30 something at night, do you think that's not it? That's not real?
No, what I'm saying is, I'm seeing something. I'm seeing lights, but I'm just not going to come out and say, I don't see a Honda CRV. You know what I'm saying? I can't tell what car is behind them. I can't see if it goes in. I can't even really make out the water is all I'm saying. I'm saying, don't come to me to decipher this video for you. That's what I said,
No, I watched it on the Grizzly True Crime yesterday, and she felt that the timestamp, and I couldn't really read the time because it was like, I don't know, it said like 39 colon some other numbers. I don't know what it was, but she said that the timestamp was the exact time of the phone, Kylie's cell phone turning off and the last ping.
And we can see that we can correlate the time and the ping, and the police said that's when it went off grid. I've got so many other questions besides the obvious. One, there's other cars on the road. If what I'm seeing is what we're led to believe, okay? My questions are, how come the other cars on the road did not command attention to an accident if it was an accident? Or was it not an accident? If it's as simple as what people are saying, then why are we here 2 months later? There should have never been any FBI
I think also, just like that other case where the 15-year-old girl died and that guy, Nate, is in custody for giving her the fentanyl that led to her death. I think that since Kylie was a minor, anybody who gave her, whether it be alcohol or drugs, that left her impaired, and then, whatever happened to her led to her death, I think they also can be charged giving a minor drugs and alcohol. So I think there's a lot of hushing up because of that too, at the very least. I mean,
but you'd have to prove it. You'd have to prove who physically handed it to her and that it went directly in her mouth. They could say, you know what, I made a mistake. I handed it to her, but I never saw her put it in her mouth. She could have given it to somebody else. There's so many variables. It's not as easy to convict people of crimes as people think it is.
No,
I have so many variables and so many things that by law. And when you're in a town that has their own procedures and rules that they live by, you're not going to see it. And even Sammy comes out and says, okay, but guess what? Sammy can also say, you know what? I really don't remember. I was exaggerating because I was trying to get attention and I was being stupid. And because at 18 years old, we make mistakes. I'm sorry. They can talk. A good attorney can talk away anything. And the other thing is, she's got parents who know law. They would not have let her do what she was doing if it was not something there's something very strange about people who are attorneys, private investigators, allowing their child to be that public. There's too many questions in this whole thing.
No,
So,
yeah.
you know,
Sammy definitely should not have been that public, and all the things that she's saying makes it look like she has a lot of guilt. It makes it look like she's saying certain things to lead us to think of it in a certain way, like she got the call at 12:36. I'm the last person that talked to her. Everything she drank, I drank. All this kind of stuff can really make her look bad, and I think people have been talking about her a lot because of what she said. So I don't know if her parents pulled her aside and said, like, hey, stop, or they just can't, they can't stop her. She just can't stop talking, and she's always on
or
social.
that's what her job is. She's a team leader. She's a youth teen leader. And that was evident that she was chosen to, and all you hear about is how popular she is, how everybody knows her, all the kids know her. Well, she's a teen leader in that community, obviously. And she comes across very egotistical, as if she can do anything she wants and not get in trouble.
She does.
The kids that do that come from families who hold no responsibility to their actions. She may get a free pass because of what her job in that community is.
Not
Who knows?
That way.
Hey, I have it.
Go ahead.
I had a question for you, Brooks, and you, Billy. Or everybody on the panel and everybody in the chat? This kind of was going on in the chat too, what you were saying earlier, Billy. Do you think this is the possibility that Nick was brought to AWP by maybe a government official?
Yes. To answer your question right away.
The point is, they like earlier level headed said they told him continuously. They told AWP they try to detour him from searching Prosser. And they're pushing Boca on him. So is Nick could possibly AWP's other stories be pointing at Nick being a lie? Because remember they said they had a whole other theory, and this is just me thinking. Now you think outside the box. Is Nick a pawn? And LE supporting this theory because they told him not to search.
Let me give you a story. I spent very naively. I spent 3 years of my life traveling this country, doing journalism, doing investigative journalism. By chance, I was put into places that were very controversial, things going on in this country. Well, I traveled with a group with a militia leader because I knew nothing about militia in 2013. And then what is this? What is this all about? It scared me at first. So I decided to research militia. I became involved with one of the militia groups, and really I found out it was very different than I thought. But the other thing I found out is that the federal agencies, the FBI, had infiltrated these groups so much. And as I was doing these stories and asking questions, I was finding out that certain people within these groups were having people do such stupid things that you'd go, what in the heck were you thinking? Why would you do that? That'll get you landed in jail. You'll be thrown in prison. What are you doing? And it would give bad names to everybody. And what was it? It was the infiltration. And they don't have to be federal agents. These people who have felonies, the federal agencies use people who are criminals in order to get lighter sentences. They pay them. These informants get paid lots of money. So they'll put them in. You don't know. Maybe Nick got paid. Maybe. And I'm not saying he is, because he could be very well, because if you've ever covered these kind of stories, and actually, I traveled with these people and was shocked at some of the undercover people who were sent in, and they would be doing podcasts. They'd be doing writing articles for the papers. And I'm talking papers that go national. And there was, this happens. And
Billy, I totally agree with you. One of the reasons why I got involved into this case is because I have the same car as Kylie. And when I was in the chat and I was saying, oh, I have that car, and something, the maps don't work, and I almost drove in a lake. And I thought that this was going to be because of the car, frankly. And I thought it was the maps that were wrong. But people asked me, could you go outside and try to start your car in neutral? And I said, Nick said it won't start in neutral. And they said, but did you try? And I said, no, because I'm in my pajamas watching all you guys on YouTube and just, sitting here. And they're like, go try. So the next morning I got up in the morning and I got in my car. And everything that Nick said did not was not true for my car, which is the same car as Kylie. I'm able to start in neutral with or without my foot on the brake. I'm able to roll backwards down my driveway when I shut off my car and leave it in drive or in neutral.
Okay, so think about this. Kylie ODs. Her friends panic. The community comes together, the community of kids who are led by a team leader, AKA maybe Sammy, maybe another one. They decide, oh my God, we panic. They put her in the back, they put her in the car. They don't know what to do with her. An adult gets involved and says, you know what? We've decided that you're just going to put her in the car. We're going to put that car in the lake. And within the time frame where her car would come out of the water and be seen, she would have decomposed enough where the story of her floating to the back would make sense, because she could fit if you're all decomposed. But guess what? They forget. When you decompose and if she starts floating, maybe things will be missing in the front seat, the middle seat. And I mean digits. I'm talking, this is graphically, but a fish could eat a finger and something get dropped in the. They didn't think this whole thing through. So it lends to me like it's somebody who just did something and she overdosed. They put her in the lake thinking the story of her being seatbelt, they seatbelt her in the back so her body won't move. But by the time she decomposes, that seatbelt won't matter. And then she's found and it all goes away. People started asking questions. There could be a very simple, hey, she's been in there since that night, which I don't buy. And Nick, yes, he could very well be a plant. But then what happens is they destroy AWPs.
Hang
So
on,
you're just,
hang on.
but you're destroying AWP in the process. So AWP has a very good reputation in this country.
Mhm.
Very good reputation. So if you've got people who are a group, and think about the people in this community who've come out with podcasts with Sammy on it, who've been on their kayaks. You've got this community who makes their living now, or hits or whatever they're doing off of YouTube and the true crime community. And now you've got AWP who can find cars and will disrupt financial flow for other people.
They could have told them not to come in. They did not have to allow them. They worked with them. So why did they have them come in at all? They could have easily said, we've got it. Lots of law enforcement agencies are, they're like, they don't allow them to come in, not just AWP, but many other dive teams.
Okay, but the other thing is, it doesn't matter. You can't tell somebody they can't take there's no way. If they'd have told them no, that would have caused more.
But they worked with them.
Yeah. Who are they that worked with them?
Well, what I'm saying is they communicated with them. Now, this is according to Doug, unless Doug with AWP is lying. He said they were in communication with them. He couldn't tell what they told them. And they actually were working together about how they use their equipment and everything like that. They could have totally shut them out and been like, you're on your own, do whatever you want. I mean, nobody.
Guess what? He probably got a hold of the good side of the team, because I'm telling you, there's good and there's bad in every department.
Oh, sure, but I'm saying nobody's going to stop me from getting my own boat and going looking for something. I'm a grown adult.
Yeah, exactly.
But according to the guys at AWP, they were welcomed in. That they talked to the detectives. They're the ones that said they didn't say the name, or if they did, I don't remember it. That they spoke with Nick. We talk about how Sammy's the darling of the community, not Mag's sister. Mag's sister was the one a couple of days in that blew her out of the water and said she's more like an acquaintance. So it puts up the big question mark on the whiteboard. How come it said if you come across Kylie or her keychain to report it to Sammy?
That's so weird.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Well, in any scenario, again, these are opining. We're all opining as people on the outside who only have a snippet of the information. Law enforcement has everything. And if you direct AWP not to look there, go over here and there at Boca, you have to realize there's variables in all of this. But the intent, in my belief, was, oh crap, we've got a dead child. Mom, people react differently, but I have yet to see a mother or father that haven't been devastated by the loss of their child and have come out saying, I want answers. Well, in this community, they want silence. They don't want answers. They want silence.
Yeah.
So we can't say Lindsay isn't acting as a mom who's hurting. She's acting as a woman who's a part of a community that has a code of silence, and she's agreed to live by it.
But she also agreed to get the hell out of it because she's had the lodge for sale since July.
Okay,
True.
but you can put property up for sale without really intending to sell it.
Yeah, but why? Why? I mean, where were they going to
That's the whole thing. See, you're doing it. You're asking the questions. Has anybody answered it?
Oh, I have
No.
a ton of questions. I don't stop asking questions till I get
But
the
that's why
Get
this
out.
whole thing with social media
show.
has backfired for anyone who wants to hide something,
Mhm.
because you can't hide from reality and you can't hide from questions. You can divert them, and that's more than likely what's going to happen here. It was an accident. That's what we're going to hear.
Oh,
That's
hands,
what we're going to hear. We all pretty much have come to that conclusion. They're going to call it an accident.
oh,
This
hands
will be a Lifetime movie. Somebody's going to make a lot of money off of. It's going to be a movie. You know that. In 2 years from now, we're going to have the Kylie Rodney story on Lifetime somewhere.
They'll come out with inconclusive on the coroner too, on the autopsy watch, on the toxology. It'll be inconclusive. Guarantee you. They're not gonna. They didn't put no time into that, dude. This is 100% a cover up, especially if that comes up and you're not gonna tell me you had no bruises or nothing on the body, or you know what I'm saying. They're gonna throw all that under the bus. 100%. It's taking too long. Taking way too long.
Yeah.
And how can you give a date of November 1st? You're going to have it solved by November 1st?
I don't know. I mean
maybe that's such a weird date.
See, what I was thinking earlier, what she was on, what Billy was on is, I mean, if they did scroll up all the physical evidence, I mean, it would take time to sit here and get extensive interviews, extensive witnesses. You would have to have an A1 case to win in court with no physical evidence. An A1,
they're not
like you would have
be
to have
able
an
to,
eyewitness saying they did it and proof. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's just hard for them to charge them with murder. It's with no physical evidence. Fuck, dude. The only evidence they have is check his TV fingerprints over that laptop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And who else's fingerprints? Because they weren't wearing gloves. Nobody was wearing gloves. Nobody was, and when they did, it was suspect because it was already after the fact. And you're going to hear the word unsubstantiated. Their claims were unsubstantiated. That's the one word that if you do anything with child abuse or CPS, the reason so many people get away with hurting children and hurting families like that is because you'll find that the CPS worker comes up and says it's unsubstantiated. And people believe that the police can go in and do something. CPS that CPS can really do something. CPS doesn't have authority. They are not a policing authority. So they take reports. Mm-hmm. And you can bet your life that a person sitting in a CPS seat who's taking reports, they can lose their job if they have things that continually come up wrong. So they're going to put unsubstantiated unless, like it was just said, unless you can unequivocally show, or you have so much evidence that is there that is just coincidence, but yet the dots are drawing. Believe me, more people have been convicted of less than you'd believe. Because why? Because of the authority figure involved in the prosecution. Who's giving the thumbs up? Where's the DA in this case? Is the DA involved? Has anybody asked? Has the DA opened an investigation?
I don't know.
No, they
don't know.
Say what kind of investigation it is. Is it a criminal investigation? What kind is it? We just know they're waiting on the toxicology, the autopsy, and then of course for California Highway Patrol to finish theirs. So,
but somebody could ask, does the DA have a case open, a file open on this girl? Do they have a file? If they don't even have a file open, you can bet your little bottom they don't plan on doing anything.
Wow.
So where's the mayor? Where's the DA? you know, who's your high echelons of jurisdiction to actually do something with this case? This case is destroyed. The evidence has been trampled on. Nothing was done right from the beginning. That car was flipped. Oh, isn't that convenient to lose everything out and somebody has to pick it up? Chain of evidence in this case has gone to hell in a handbasket. There is no chain of evidence.
Yes.
The only chain of evidence they have is that car. And they took her body out. Didn't they take her body out before they transported the vehicle, which they don't normally do in a case like this?
I don't know.
They usually take
was-
the car and
she
remove the body.
She
Yeah.
was in the back. They had a tarp over it. So and that's one thing I never understood, the tarp over just the back of the car. Duh. And then it comes out, they're like, no, she was in the back. She was in the back. Is
They're
what.
recovering the remains.
Mm-hmm.
Which they do anyhow. But there's just so much that doesn't make sense that I'm so glad you gave me time to come on here, because it's just been like fueling in my gut, because so much of this I've seen across. I mean, I had one story I covered where a homeless guy, and this is dead serious, in Utah, was paid $250,000 to help set up a doctor in that town with the feds. And the story that I covered, the family whose daughter was raped by federal agents in that town, it was horrible. We were all crying by the time I was done. And that camera got stolen with all my evidence on it.
That's insane.
So I'm telling you, there is nothing beyond. If you can think it, it can be 10 times to 100 times worse then. Because we as normal people don't go into our lives, we just want to raise our children, have a dog or two to pet, a cat litter box to fix, and go to work and come home and grow old and rock our grandchildren. Well, guess what? That lifestyle, that has left the building, and this proves it. We can no longer be naive to think that there is not evil out there, because right now, the evil, the darkness and the light are so magnified. And there's so much going on where you go, oh, I mean, you can go anywhere in political realms and say, how can they still be walking around? And if they can't be caught and indicted at that level, we stand no chance to get justice. So justice is a narrative created in order to influence a town's municipality bottom line. They have a budget and they have an income. They have bonds come in and everything else. The budget doesn't tell you anything. The second side of the books do. Someone get into the second side of Truckey's books and get into the mayor's ear and talk to the DA. But guess what? You're never going to get that close, because they're going to bury this story just like they were going to bury her when they found the car and her body was small enough to have actually made it into the back of that vehicle.
Well, like Stacy says here, and a lot of people in the chat have been saying, what is all of, the dramatics, and why did they say, oh, don't search Prosser, search Boca? Why are they misleading AWP? They're like, yeah, come on down and you can do a dive, but not there. You got to do it over here. I mean, so there's
because
a lot
of 3 decades ago that would have worked. 3 decades ago, your Barney Fife's in town.
Mm-hmm.
You're not, AWP wasn't around with all this sonar and everything. Nobody used that other than the federal agencies are the only ones. They've had stuff like this to use for a very long time. If something wants to be found, if the jurisdiction wants to find something, they're going to find it. If they don't, they're going to cover it up. It'll go away.
They didn't want to find her.
Because they just got a buttload of money into that town. They've billed for so many hours. There was this GoFundMe, the fact that they're not releasing those funds to AWP for finding her. That question right there, as a parent, you're going, so what? She wants the money. And then does she have a life insurance policy? I would have to say probably. This family has money. These families who have money do things very different than those that don't. Families who have money have life insurance policies on their babies. This is not abnormal and it's not nefarious.
There's nothing wrong with that at all. My problem with that story is the only one that could tell their business is the person whose business it is.
Exactly.
So unless Lindsay has said, yeah, I have a life insurance policy on her, I'm really not going to get into that too much, because insurance companies make money on holding on to their money. And they'll fight you tooth and nail just to fix a tail light. So without a cause of death, how the hell does Lindsay have a life insurance check? I
Yeah,
don't
but you know what? With insurances, I can tell you this right now. People with a lot of money, insurance is a very easy way to launder money. And when you have people at a level of having even a few million in the bank, insurance companies are dealt with very differently. And insurance guys that go out in the field are bribed all day long. There's too many. When you don't think it is, it is. And if you don't think something can happen, it does. And all we can do out here is say what my hope is, and then I have to go. My mouth runneth over. I apologize, but is that we can be a community in ourselves individually, if that makes sense. Can't we be a community of Americans again that take care of each other? And when something goes wrong, responsibility is taken. We don't tell our kids, oh no, don't worry, you're not responsible. That people who hurt people are held accountable. They're allowed to fix things they can fix. And if they can't, we don't need this huge court system. We don't need all this chaos and controversy. And what is chaos and controversy? When you do legal work and you are in legal realms, chaos and controversy are what pays. That's how attorneys make a living. That's how judges make a living. That's how the court system. Bad news sells. So can we get to the point where we're saying, you know what, we get that bad news sells, but we want to be more about less attorneys, less courts, less laws, and get back to what law really matters. Don't hurt your fellow man. And if you do, you're going to be held accountable. That should be really, and let people like Truckee, if they want to have their, code of silence and they have their community and everybody agrees to live like that, let them. Mm-hmm. It's not our place, and nor is it our place to tell other groups how to live or how to do what they want, or other religious groups how they should be believing, or if they're wrong because they do wear something on their head, or you know what I mean? It's ridiculous. Everybody wants to tell everybody what to do, but they don't want to leave people alone. And that's what social media has done. It's allowed us to invade other people's private space because nothing is private anymore. Everything's on camera. Everything has a cell phone picture. These kids were not at that party putting their cell phones away. So that's baloney. Everything, once you walk out your door, can be seen, and it is public and can be used.
Hey, I had something in the comments right there. I was thinking the same thing. Did someone ever pull up her taxes owed on that lodge? If it was worth $1.6 million, that lodge would be possibly paying $8,000 to $10,000, $10,000 a year
try more like taxes. 14. Try more like closer to 14.
Well, I sold my house for $660, and I paid $2 in California, in the Bay Area.
Yeah, but it depends if you're rural or whatever, because taxes also come with, you've got high fire in that area.
I know they got fire tax up there. Yeah, they got fire tax.
So the taxes there are very expensive. But it doesn't. Who cares?
Yeah, so you're looking at 15 to 20 grand a month, then? I mean, a year.
A year. No, I'd say probably between 12 and 14.
Okay, that's still a lot. If you can go behind 5 years and they won't.
Yeah, but that's not to them.
Remember, they won't take your house for like 7 years. If you get behind 7 years plus, that's when they start coming after you and taking your property.
They can do it a lot sooner than that, honey. I've been in the foreclosure world helping people.
I'm just going off prior experience. Obviously, I have a lot with probate and stuff with taxes, and every case is different. But if it depends, you can. 2 years you can lose your house, but I don't know. You make a payment plan. You know what I'm saying? For the beginning, you're behind.
But they can handle their taxes. We've got homes in California selling for $40 million.
Easily.
So there's people who can pay it, and it's all just hot air anyhow. But when our children are dying, being kidnapped, look at that 20-month-old that just disappeared out of his crib or out of his playpen.
That's our next day.
That, to me, when you start looking at that, where does it all start and where does it all end? There's usually an attorney involved, lots of money, and lots of cover up. And it's sad, but that's true. Can we not figure out a way in this country to quit paying politicians to get back to the basics? I think the majority of this country wants that. We weren't meant to be divided.
They do. Volunteer positions, they don't get paid for it like it used to be. And where it begins and ends is behind the front door, my friend. It's at home.
And you know what? But I got to tell you, the social
hang
the
on.
social media and phones, when your child, I don't care how much, again, I've raised 5 kids and I'm the first one to tell you, don't ever say never. Don't ever say never. Because I got a 41-year-old right now that tells me stories about when she was in high school. And I'm like, holy crap, I was in the next room, you know, and it's not like it's really bad stuff, but it's stuff you go, I would have never allowed that. But kids are going to be kids, as they say.
Yeah.
But in this town, don't continue on social media saying, well, it's been going on for decades. They have their parties, they're drinking. It's the end of it's a big celebration. No. You know, they're going to drink because that's kids. Think any of us, be honest. Think about when you were in school. How many kids in junior high were smoking pot and drinking and doing mushrooms? Well, guess what? Nowadays, fentanyl is in everything.
God, it's awful. And they had a big sweep through there and other towns around there. And it just kind of seemed to hit at sort of a convenient time. Now, I just wanted to clarify something.
Exactly.
And I just want to clarify something. Absolutely, social media is a plus and a minus. Okay. It's a double-edged sword. And a lot of the people that get attention are damn sure asking for it. I cannot believe women my age get on there to tell people they have to pee. If you're one of those, I probably don't follow you. That's just how it goes. I don't need to see all that stuff. I can't stand it. I probably haven't posted on my own Facebook, and I can't tell you how long. I barely tell my kids happy birthday on there.
Well, you're better off not. Elon Musk said it best, and whether you like him or not, the man knows what's going on. And he told everybody, get off of Facebook, get off of social media. It's destroying our culture.
Use it for your business, whatever you have to do. But now, believe how you want to believe. I don't care. I don't care if you use indoor plumbing. I don't care what you do. But when kids turn up missing and we're supposed to turn a blind eye, kiss my ass, you will hear from me.
And CPS is what CPS
happened. That is not
CPS is the child trafficking mafia of our lives, and people don't have a clue. They think CPS is so good. The last person you want to call, the last agency you want to call is CPS. And seriously, I'm going to leave you with this. I had a podcast years ago, and we had a woman come on, and I'm not going to mention her name, but she had run for Senate. She was running for Senate. Well, her daughter, her 2-year-old grandchild, was removed from the home and adopted out. A judge gave the paperwork. The mother, they lost the child, got adopted out. This woman was canvassing in Northern California for Senate. The door opens, and this little girl opens the door. It's her granddaughter. The woman who is her adopted mother is the daughter of the judge who gave the child away. That's happening, folks, all across this country. CPS is the child laundering arm of our country.
Wow. Dude, check out my shows about Harmony Montgomery.
Yep.
Harmony. Oh, so sad.
We have a show we're live every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. We swear, they call me the replay queen. I beat a dead horse. It's rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat.
Everything's a pattern.
And
crimes are a pattern. And if your criminals repeat the same pattern because they're not, once they get the pattern down of their crime, serial killers, people who steal, people who rob cars, people who hijack, they have a pattern. And once that pattern is known, if you're really looking to stop it, you stop the pattern. But some people, I firmly believe in evil and good. And I truly believe some people out there are just not good people. And don't expect good to come from someone who isn't, and don't think you're going to change them. Just be willing to accept that there's danger out there, and we need to protect our families, not just our children, but our families. The men in our communities, they need protection. My God, they've been vilified. How many single family homes do we have? Why does this matter? Because you come back to Kylie Rodney. There's been questions about the stepdad. There's been questions about the way the parents don't parent the same way. I'm telling you what, that dad's grieving. But he's being silent.
The biggest thing in this whole thing is the left hook that AWP gave to all of them, including law enforcement, because they have video evidence of how she was positioned in the car. And there's no way that they can continue to cover up whatever they're covering up.
Yeah, AWP is the nail in the coffin for the lies. And that's why they've continually said, you've seen 10%. We have videos that if it goes one way, they'll be released. Well, you know, these guys, they have their reputation on the line. If Nick was a plant, they're not going to let that stand. They're going to protect themselves and they're going to protect their business because they have a business based on helping families. Well, if it comes out that they look like liars, it's not their fault if they were manipulated by someone coming in for an agency to divert them to another area. All they had to do was say, come back in 2 weeks. You know, and I was told they came a day early, didn't they?
Yes, they did. They came very
so
quickly.
Yeah. So maybe there was plans to get that car out of there before they could look.
It was just weird because that guy, the roadside assistant guy, came to the parking lot and found them. Like, how do you know where they were and what parking lot they were in? I mean, it
could happen. It could, but it's too suspect. And like you said, you started your car in neutral, you said, right?
I started my car in neutral, and then everyone asked me if I had my foot on the brake or not on the brake. I can start it either with my foot on the brake or without my foot on the brake. I can start.
So right there, what does that tell you?
And
I have found an answer to. He's supposed to be a roadside assistance guy. He knows this, right? He should know that.
You know, also when I was on Zav Girl's panel, and she just had the interview with Doug, and he said, anybody who said that Nick is wrong is totally up the wrong tree. And then I came on and said, I don't think Nick is right. And she said, no. Doug just said Nick has to be right. So I said, oh, I'm sorry. I said, I didn't know that. I missed that part. But it still didn't make sense to me. So a few mechanics also messaged to me that they know that you can start a car in neutral, and they were confused about how he said she couldn't start the car in neutral. And then on Plunder, she said, if the car was in neutral, wouldn't it be rolling? So I went out to my CRV and I put the car in neutral. And yeah, if I sneeze, the car will move. If I'm on a slight decline or incline, it's going down or it's going up. I mean, that car moves in neutral all over the place. I feel like I'm like floating in there when it's in neutral because it moves as I move. So I said, that's so weird too. So I told that to Zav Girl too, and we were just really confused. And I'm not trying to say AWP did anything wrong at all. They can just be manipulated and misled because they were going to come in and steal the show and find the girl and do a great thing. And maybe somebody didn't want that.
Well, and also Doug can't say anyone's right or wrong. He just knows what he's been told. So I'm sorry you were told that. And it's a wonder you didn't get killed doing all those experiments in your car.
Oh my gosh, Brooks, you have to see me in my driveway rolling down. It's crazy. It's crazy.
My goodness. No, we don't. I mean, like we've said on the show a million times, not just this case, every case, they, in their folders, in their files, however they do it, they have all the answers. We're talking about it. We have different theories, speculations, opinions. I would like to say it's all going to come out in the wash, but the fact that this goofy ass video just came out, and like I said, I feel like I'm watching Bigfoot footage. And people know for sure, I can't make out a Honda CRV, so I can't tell you definitively what happened. I can't tell you.
And again, and like you just said, when we see the other 90% of AWP's footage, Nick may have been called out because whoever was on the other end thought, the car was in neutral and lying. I can't get the car started. There's so many variables that could actually come out with a full. It's just like anything. If you have a paragraph and you take one sentence out of that, which the news does all the time, you can give a different narrative than if you hear the whole paragraph.
Yes, so, it was highly edited, the video. It was highly edited.
And you put a wrench in it because you're saying, no, I can, I went out there and the fact and evidence, you gave facts. You weren't opining. That's not an opinion. That's a fact.
Yes.
Your car started in neutral.
Yes.
Your car rock and rolled in neutral.
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. We need to get back more to show us the facts. And I hear everybody on these shows, oh, we're all about just facts. Well, then all of these shows I listened to last night, I just clicked through to see what each one was saying. And on the video heading, Kylie's car, I'm thinking, okay, right there, Kylie's car. And there wasn't even a question mark.
Dude, I can't tell if there's a car. I'm watching the Blair Witch Project is what it looks like.
I asked if it was Sammy's headlamp. And was that the car on the hill that was when they were taking the footage, because it was moving around and stopping? Well, if you watch that footage of Sammy where the car's up on the bluff, but you could even say that was,
the headlamp. Okay.
Yeah, because the headlamp stops, it's like there's so many ways you could take that. And until this is over, we won't know. But I'm just happy to know, as a mom and as a person in our communities, that we are out there. We're asking questions, and we're not just taking the answers anymore. We're saying this doesn't make sense. Common sense tells you. And if it doesn't add up,
it's not true.
Follow the money. Follow the money.
If it doesn't make sense, it's not true. And there's always something behind it. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to know. But
it's
Billy,
money.
I appreciate you coming up. I know you said you had to.
Yeah, I gotta go. Thank you guys so much.
Hey, Billy, send me an email. I have something I want to run by you.
Okay, well, what's your email?
CLL72020@gmail.com.
Okay, CLL72020@gmail.com.
Yep.
Okay, and that'll probably be later this afternoon.
Oh, no big deal.
Okay, and Billy is in my email, so you'll know it's me.
All right, I look forward to it.
Have a great afternoon, you guys, and let's get some justice where we finally need it.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Have a great day.
Hey, Tracy, what's going on?
Hi, I hope you could see me. I hide my face, I guess, for the public, if that's okay.
Yeah, I don't want cameras used on here because I don't need to see anybody's wanger or what they're doing.
I'm like so glad that you guys are awake, because like you guys all got these emails, or did you get it from other social media? The link.
What are you talking about?
That video link?
It's on the website, Alert California.
Yeah, a few of the channels that I follow got their
We're not worried about them. We're not
an email.
We're not worried about them. We're not worried about any of them.
Okay, I do apologize. All right, so now this all came out after I put Queen Bee in her place.
Okay, all right. Now we don't do channel drama. So what do you think about the video that came out?
I still think that they're trying to cover it up. They're trying to make it look like an accident, or they want you to believe it's an accident. I don't think that car really went in the water. Jagger has made plenty of videos on his Instagram and I guess TikTok, whatever, of them parking as close to the water as possible and how far they can actually go. What it looks like to me is that the light shut off. Yeah, the timing is good, but I don't think that happened. All these cars going by, I just don't. And then it would totally debunk the tow truck driver. Is he a tow truck driver?
Well, yeah, that's what we've been talking about, because what did he see the next day if the car went in the water that night? And it very well could be the car went in the water that night. I have a lot of questions.
Now, if we can't get that footage from that man or his company, or that disappears, I just have this bad feeling that they want to sue Adventures with Purpose, because now that their channel's skyrocketing, they're making money. They want that money.
What are they going to sue him for?
For putting that information on that video without any proof. By allowing that interview, there's absolutely no proof that this guy's telling the truth or not.
Yeah, but they're not responsible on a public platform. They're allowed to interview anybody as a news source. They're not the source of this information. They're not liable for the information.
And they can't get in trouble for putting out any type of false information, because I swear if they prove that this is an accident.
No, I have a disclaimer I put up before my show.
Yeah.
You could get up here right now and say that you're the first lady. I've got a disclaimer saying I'm not responsible for what you say on here.
Okay, I didn't understand that. Yeah, you have to forgive me. Like, I'm nervous about this because this thing is hitting everybody all of a sudden.
No.
Oh yeah, because if that's the case, TMZ wouldn't be open today. You know what I'm saying? It's a difference if it comes out of their mouth and they're stating it's a fact, but if they're coming out of a source, they don't even have to come from the source. I mean, but they did interview the source, but that's up to the source. And they didn't name nobody in those videos they dropped. They didn't name anybody exactly, like straight up say this guy did it. So it'd be hard to prove in court that any of that caused any kind of problems in their lives.
Of course. I have another question about the video. Did you notice on the right the massive light?
Like the strobe light looking thing that goes by?
No, it's not going by. It was just like a massive light. If you I guess shorten the video a little bit. I seen it on a different channel, so please forgive me. And also on the website, it's off to the right. It's huge. You can't miss it.
Yeah, like a strobe light. What do you think it is?
That was actually a strobe light because it was so big.
I don't know.
All right. Well, when you can look at that video again, there's lots of lights everywhere, but this one is so big.
It's the one that looks like it's just sitting there. It's like a light sitting there. I know what you're talking about, but it looks like someone's blocking the road. That's what it looks like to me.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what you're talking about, it's in the front part. It's on the left-hand side in the front. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's on the right. I believe it was on the right. When I looked at it,
I thought with the video we watched, the car went in on the right.
Cars. Yeah, you're looking at the two cars. I'm talking about over the lake, all the way to the right. I mean, way over to the right.
I think you're talking about when it flashed right as the car's headlights went off, like where Kylie's.
No. There was no flash. No, it's just a big, huge light. I really wish I can put it in front of you right now. So I was just wondering if you noticed that it was just very, very big.
That's the reason I said, do you mean like a strobe light or a
No.
Well, you saw what you think the light is.
I don't know. That's why I was wondering if you noticed it and what you guys thought of that.
I saw lots of lights. I mean,
there's one that's really, really big. It almost looks like a fire.
Well, you think it was smoke?
No, I wouldn't be able to see smoke in that in video anyway.
Well, it's a fire cam. Yeah, you can.
All right. Well, it was pretty big all in one spot. So I was just wondering if you noticed it and what you thought about it. That was it.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Maybe it's the generator with the lights they had running for the party.
They said it was dark and they had to use their car lights. Remember that?
Yeah, but we're not believing everything we hear, right?
Mm-mm.
All right.
I mean, I'm at that point already. I've heard a lot of things. Megan told me 19 stories in 8 hours.
I don't know. I still can't wrap my mind her being in the back like that and it to be an accident. I mean, it could have been an accident if somebody was driving, they were hanging out in the car and something happened. But whoever came out of that vehicle is the one with the answer. Because, I mean, I don't see how Kylie would have went all the way to the back like that. Squeeze her little body all the way back there.
Well, hang on. I've got some answers here. Sweetie Pie said no one reads the chat. I'm trying, girl. Inspection station, generator light, agriculture center.
I'm a little nervous. I apologize.
There's
someone said it's an illusion from the highway. All I do is read the chat, guys. I try to come in a little bit and comment what you guys are saying. They said it's an illusion from the highway.
If just think of it this way, with as many cars that AWP has pulled out of the water with people in them, that if it was an accident, they would have stated it in their first video that they put out.
Yeah, the first thing they said, not to interrupt you, I'm so sorry. First thing they said is whoever did this, there should be no mercy or something like that. I'm not saying the sentence right, but that was the first thing that they said in their video, that they should not get away with this or something about that.
I think that they're going to come out with the rest of their video in due time. Probably not before the 1st of November, but they've promised it. So eventually it's going to come out.
And then one more. Is the secret cremation real or is that a rumor?
Well, I couldn't prove it to you, but according to her mother, she's been cremated. Or a secret source that told the Sun. I can't figure it out. I don't know why you would cremate your child without a cause of death.
And then you can actually buy this this information online. which I will not, disclaim who has purchased one already, is kind of saying that it's still pending, but
Yeah,
she was
we
cremated.
talked about it last week. I
Yeah,
think
you heard about that.
it was last Wednesday where we talked about the cause of death was pending and the putting out the article about the secret cremation. Yeah.
And they're selling that information online.
You can buy
A
it.
couple of people already purchased it.
Anybody can buy it. It's called Vital Records. Like if I lose my birth certificate, I can have it replaced by Vital Records or anything like that. Lots of people, you can.
I had no clue. I never done anything like that before, so I didn't know that. I thought you can only get your stuff. Like I didn't know. All right, so it just I'm trying to understand why. Like as a parent, I wouldn't have done that. I want to know more information about what happened to my child.
Well, I think we can all agree on that. And I don't understand it. I don't get it at all.
Who's to say that they didn't get a second one done? And just haven't told anybody.
Yeah, they're not going to release anything extra right now, especially if it's an active investigation. That's what makes me believe this is truly an active investigation at this point, because they're not releasing any information other than what we know at this point. And anything else can be detrimental to the case. You know what I'm saying? It really can. It'll open doors where we can open our eyes, because we have 4 different, 5 different, 6 different, 7 different theories right now, right? Crime. So if we think about it, then if they give out 1 more inch of information, a lot of us probably could jump on a bandwagon one way, right?
Right.
And then so that whoever really committed this murder would just hinder the investigation. It would throw too much information out, and and anybody can step up and say they know who did it, or it just in the court's eyes, if too much is out and everybody knows, then usually that's bad for the case. Usually it doesn't get prosecuted.
Well, not many people, I don't mean around here, but a lot of people forget there's such a thing called a jury. And I don't mean in here, and a lot of people don't follow cases to the end. They get bored with it, and you should get on with your own life. I mean, I get it. I'm not being like Lindsay saying get a hobby, but I don't blame anybody for not hanging on to the bitter end. But when it gets down to jury time, if everything's already out there, what do you do?
That too. That's another huge thing. You know what I'm saying? And especially if something the killer only knows if she was wearing clothes or not, or AWP. That's why it's huge to get a gag order and AWP on if she was wearing clothes. The little simple details, you know what I'm saying? They want that behind closed doors. And I don't know, man. It's just scary that nothing's came out, and we're getting closer to the first. Is there going to be arrests, or just going to be, thrown under the rug? I would think if they had enough already, it'd already be an arrest at this point.
Yeah, and sometimes, I mean, I've said it several times. I don't really know what's going to happen with this. I can't even guess from day to day because something's always changing. I mean, we were just talking about, not releasing information. Look at the Delphi case, how many years they're into the Delphi case. And they're like, we're not going to release this, this, and this because only the killer would know. Now, obviously, this is totally different scenario. But we're 2 months into this. We could be 5 years into it. I hope not. Trust me, I hope not. But it's really 2 months for a case investigation is nothing. Nothing. I mean, look at poor Kyron Horman. 12 years? They're 12 years in on that. Look, I mean.
You think it's nothing, too, especially if there's going to be 6 to 7 to 8 people charged. You know what I'm saying? If there's a line of people, if there's a bunch of cards in this game that are playing, you know what I'm saying? And they're trying to get everybody. It'll take some time, especially to get all the evidence and get the paper trail and to get someone talking, get the next person talking. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and especially to get enough. Just to them talking is not enough. You got to prove that's what really happened and base your story around it. So, I mean, I don't know. I feel someone's talking though. I've since day one crime, Brooke. I think someone's talking. I really believe so. It's normal that someone gets scared, especially being 17 to 18. I don't think all these kids got big balls like that. And I say big balls as in, I've been in the situation where they put the light on me at 18 years old. And trust me, you could be the hardest guy in the room. When they sit you in that room for 8 to 10 hours and they're questioning you, that's the hardest thing to go through and endure as a kid. You're still a kid. That reminds you, you're still a kid. You know what I'm saying?
We're 50 years old, 60 years old with the best lawyer in town. You'd be pissing right down your leg, and no amount of prom queen or popularity in any town's going to get away from that. I don't know. There's just so many ifs. There's just so many ifs in this case. But I appreciate you two coming up here as always.
You're welcome.
Thanks for having us. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you hit that like button. Brooks, I'll see you soon. Thank you, Level-Headed, man. Good seeing you, buddy.
Yes, good to see you guys.
We had a great panel, great conversation today. You guys hit the remind button. Don't forget to sub. A lot of people, it's just, I guess the channel is recommended, but you're not subbed. So that way we can keep in touch. Then when we go live, we're live and you get a reminder. That's how it's supposed to work, but it's not normally how it works anymore. I don't know what's going on with our friends at YouTube, but they need to hire a new janitor, if you know what I mean. All right, guys, so I will see you back here in a couple of hours. We have another case that we're covering, and this is about Port Little Quentin in Georgia. They're saying no foul play, and I see a lot of foul play. It's pretty insane what's going on down there. So you guys come back. Like I said, 2 o'clock Central Time. Don't forget, you are hands down the best chat and best community on YouTube. Between shows, I'll hop into Discord and say hi too. So you guys, if I miss you in the next show or if I miss you in Discord, I'll see you back here Monday morning. You know the drill. You are the best. See you guys later. Bye-bye.